said tomorrow, we're not doing this anymore, what would the recourse for that be? What would the right be? Like this, do they have the right? Yes, they have the right.
That's why I said I'm not sure that's the right word.
It's not
I
correct.
don't know that I used the right word.
Should they? What should they do is a different and a separate question. And I don't know what the answer is. I have said before, and again, people in this business don't want me to say it, we have too much of this. We don't need this much coverage of sports in this country. Right. We need more.
Yeah, the NFL might be at a point where they're like, okay, we've had enough. We created this monster, now we need to take its arms off.
Like what we need more of is people like holding the people that make actual important decisions accountable. We need more of that.
Right.
And when we try to make our job seem more important by saying, well, they're getting $600 million worth of public money, you're not trying to cover that. You're trying to cover a football game.
Right.
That's what you want to cover. If you're saying that means that the owner should be more accountable or should be more available, let's have a conversation about that. How are you spending that public money?
This
but
incident.
What happens on Sunday against the Texans has nothing to do with $600 million worth of public money.
Oh, and I also said, and what I tried to make as many, maybe I made none, but I tried to make as many salient points as I could. Like, to the Ravens right now.
Yeah, Griffin, it just popped up.
This is there's no meat to this. They're trying to win football games.
Correct.
They couldn't care less about whether or not it's contrived or not.
But there's plenty of conversation to be had about the Ravens and their connection with the community and their touch and whether or not there's plenty of conversation to be had about that.
Someone sent me an email the other day and said I do these Q&As every week or two. Somebody said, can you speak publicly about how things have changed since Kevin Byrne left? And I can't really because I haven't been there during that time. So I can't. But it's inevitable anytime someone leaves a position and a new person comes in. Things change. They just do.
That's the way it works.
If John Harbaugh's gone in 2 years.
But it's also bigger than that. I think it's easy to point out the difference. This was, even when Kevin was there, this had started changing. There had been things that had changed based on the nature of how the football teams are now worth hundreds of billions of dollars. Not really, but you know what I mean. Like they're worth astronaut. Once upon a time, football teams are worth $100 million.
Yeah, now they're worth $2.5 or $3 or $4 billion.
Oh, or more than that,
yeah,
right? Like we saw what Washington just sold for. This is part of the nature of that. When a company grows inherently in value, no matter who's running the company, it's going to change. There is going to be. Now, I think that's disappointing. It's part of the reason we did the Tyus Bowser Show last night. 4 years ago, sat down with John Colson and said, I think it's disappointing that part of this has ended. I think it's disappointing.
Were people there last night?
There were plenty of people there last night. We had a great turnout at the Hamilton Sports Bar and Grill. Thanks to everybody who came out. What a wonderful night it was. Thanks to Superbook Sports.
You're making that argument. You're saying you think, and I think I agree with you. I think those things, whether or not the Ravens believe it or not, and we used to get into it with them about this, right?
Mm-hmm.
I think they miss out on the fact that those things are important. And this, it's interesting you say this. This does go to a broader subject, right? Which we don't have the time to even get into it today. And you may believe it doesn't matter. There is a very discernible decline in the enthusiasm for the football team, in my opinion.
I think that you are measuring that with the wrong. I disagree, but not vehemently.
Everything tells you there is.
Well, you're saying based on certain measurements. What do you measure it on? Your hard on is about you've always
by height.
You've always had a hard on about attendance, and I've tried having this conversation with you over and over again. That's across the board. That's not unique to the Ravens. That's not unique to sports. It's not unique to.
I don't know that. I don't know that every team in the league this week had a home opener. Have Garrett look it up. Did every team in the league have 550 empty unsold seats? I don't know. Did every team in the league have almost 11,000 no-shows?
I have dealt with this within the ticketing industry strongly.
I forgot more about tickets than you know.
I know that's true. But at the moment, you're not. I'm telling you, that is across the board. There is an issue that exists across the board, and there's a million reasons why it makes sense. But
But I'm going back to your thing about what you did on Tuesday night.
Right.
Or last night.
No, I think the touch is different, and I do think it's a different feel. I think that the television ratings back up that the interest in the Ravens is no different than it has ever been.
No doubt. I didn't say that.
Right.
I didn't say interest. I said they've had a discernible decline in support.
I'm not sure how you're trying to...
Because I feel it. I see it. I sensed it during the summer. I do believe, if we were doing what I always do, the pizza, I do believe in this specific case, 2023, I think the Orioles have taken some of that. I will agree
I'm
with
sure
that.
there's something
because in the
to be said for
past,
that, yes.
on
It's
July the 10th,
all you would talk
you
about
and I would
is,
come in
right.
on July the 10th and do a dance
Right.
in the station and say, we only got 1 week left until football starts.
Right. I understand that. Yeah.
Now, the Orioles have captured some of that this summer, right? When I say I know people, I only know one, but if I know one, I know more. I know someone that this past year took their Ravens marketing money, meaning the money they would have heretofore spent on Ravens marketing, and they, for the first time in 9 years, they gave it to the Orioles.
100%.
So I feel like some small part of it has to do with the Orioles. I think some other small part of it has to do, in some way, has to do with and you said something interesting a minute ago. It has to do with this sort of wild, we never even dreamed it could get this big sort of scope for both the players, who, say what you will about whether or not they, air quotes here, deserve $2.5 million for being a part-time player. These players are outlandishly paid. And maybe on Tuesday nights now, Tyus Bowser they don't need him. Whereas when you asked Dan Wilcox to do something 15 years ago, Dan thought he might meet a car dealer in town.
100%.
Who'd give him $60,000 to come out and pedal cars.
100%.
So I think you're right. In these, and I'm not saying when I say if the Ravens were smart, like I'm saying that as a cliche. If the Ravens were smart, they'd understand that these players need to be out on Tuesdays. And I get it. They're off. That's our day off. I understand that. But and it was totally different. So when I say this, I'm saying this, and I am, I'm saying from Jump Street, the Blast and the Ravens were totally different. That's the only way we built the franchise with the Blast. The only way we built it was to have the players go out in the community. That's the only way we built it. And we made them do it. I mean, Lord only knows.
And in small, it's the only option. It's the thing I say whenever one of these arena football leagues came to town and was like, well, we'll just run a team from D.C. and it'll be playing in Baltimore.
No, you won't.
You're never – it's
right.
Just don't even
bother. That's why you can ask him. That's why Scott Manning stayed here in Baltimore.
Yeah, of course.
He met people and got a job and, frankly, made more money than he did playing soccer.
I believe that.
These guys – so the Ravens do need this. They do need these guys going out on Tuesday nights and going to bars, and they're going to bars anyway. Why wouldn't you go out and put a headset on for half an hour and tell people who you are and get close to them? And I feel like they've really lost that.
I feel like the way what you're describing, it's just we're using the wrong words. The support, the interest is still it's incomparable. It's just not as personal as it once was.
Yeah, but fewer people are going to the games.
But that's the part. You're obsessed with that, and I think it comes from an era of that being a really big deal. And it's not a big deal anymore.
I hear you, and the reason it's not a big deal is why? Because the teams and the league have made it that way.
Correct.
They've done it to themselves.
Yes.
They've made it far more enjoyable, far more palatable, far more easy for you to just say, they're calling for showers at 3:30.
Yep.
I think I'll just stay home.
100%. And the team has no concern about it because to them, as all they're concerned about.
That's the one area I'm going to disagree with you. I do think they're concerned about
I don't think they're.
I don't think they're hiring 8 new people to get on the phones and make phone calls concerned.
No.
But they're concerned that they didn't sell 550 seats the other day. I can tell you that. They're definitely concerned about that. They are.
There might be someone there who's concerned about it. There might be someone who's hell-bent about it. But the people that understand the way that the league has shifted, they get it. They know what time it is. They understand this is not the measuring stick for us anymore. This is not what we're worried about. And if there are people there, great.
My son's home sick, so I'm answering food calls.
What do you mean food calls? He wants you to bring him something?
He's got to have food.
Well, there's not food at the house?
Not the kind he likes.
Okay.
It's actually regular
need
food.
Some pizza rolls or something? Like that's what, if he's sick, what is he supposed to be eating? Now, wait a second. I got some questions about you as a parent now. Is there no chicken soup at the house? None?
Yes. He's not eating chicken soup.
If he's homesick, why would he not be eating chicken soup, Drew? Why would you be entertaining his desire for some Totino's?
They say that this double COVID that he has.
Oh, he's got the double COVID.
Chicken
That's
soup's
weird.
no good for
No,
you.
it's not going to help with that. I was watching a video. Man, my kid had to go home from school on Monday because of pink eye. I was watching.
Oh,
I'm good.
don't even get 100 feet from him.
I was watching a video that was a TikTok video about how your kid spends the entire summer perfectly healthy. Everything's good. Never sick. You could every day ready to run a marathon. And then the first week they're back at school.
Well,
the first week they're back at school.
everybody's sick.
Everyone
it's
is
run
sick.
rampant through the school over there.
Everyone.
This illness.
It's unbelievable.
It's apparently not COVID,
You-
but it's something.
You stick them inside that box.
And you know what's coming anyway.
What?
Come on.
Oh,
You know
no,
what's
you're
coming
gonna
in the
do that.
next
We're not,
year.
I'm not even,
No,
I'm
but
not
you
even.
know what's
I'm
coming.
just not even. I'm not going.
There are
there.
going to be 3 of them.
Oh, stop. Stop.
You know it's coming.
Settle down. Settle down.
It's
over
coming.
there. Anyway,
It's going to be fun.
Let me go back for a second. One, again, Tyus Bowser Show is the
do you
reason
think
why.
about the
Hang
Caps?
on. Stop. The reason why we do the Tyus Bowser Show is because of what Drew's talking about, because I noticed that this completely ended. And John Colson, who was intimately involved with all of the infancy of these radio shows here in Baltimore, he was running Tony Siragusa's show at the Barn. He and I got together and said this was an important part of the relationship between this community and these players, and everybody having their stories the time they went out. We'd like to bring it back. And so Tyus Bowser has been amazing, has been an unbelievable partner. You're going to hear segment 1 of the Tyus Bowser Show later on. Our next show will be 2 weeks from last night, so the 26th. We'll be at Guilford Hall Brewery. We will look forward to that. Find
If you
out
go to
more.
someplace that's got good wine, invite me out.
PressBoxOnline.com/Bowser. I'm pretty sure all these places have good wines. I think you're going to be okay.
Right.
Just come out to one of them, all right?
But
Now-
yeah, I think this is.
Now, that being said, this all started because of I went to your website and posted.
Yeah, right. Go ahead.
What I was going to tell you was, somebody tells me, go read what Drew writes. I read what Drew writes.
Okay.
And I go down into your comments, and I see our friend, Steve from Pimlico, who I know well. I like Steve. He's a good guy.
Right.
Say, yeah, but you got to give the guy credit. He really launched the careers of Drew, Jeremy, Bob, Rob, Glenn, and that was what set me off.
Okay.
That was
Yeah,
the comment.
Launched the career.
That
I
was the gas.
40 when I went
That
to
was
work
the
there.
gaslighting
Okay.
that guy would do when I worked there. When I was working 6 times as much as I had agreed to work when I got a deal, and he was telling me that
I gave you a job.
yeah, right. Oh,
gave you a job.
I took a chance on you.
I paid you 28
And so I said I left a bigger market and a better paying job to come back here. And I couldn't get other jobs because of my association with that place.
Right.
And that's a straight shoot.
Yeah, sure.
The jobs that going to work for Loyola could have happened if I wasn't working at that place.
Right.
It couldn't happen while I was. It wasn't an option. That's the reality. It derailed my professional experience. Now, that was my choice. I decided to come home. I wanted to be around family, and I enjoyed getting to know the people that I worked with. A lot of Drew and I still do shows together.
You got mad.
So I went
wrote
off.
something?
I did.
Look it
I
up.
got off. I went
Okay.
off on Steve. I did. Poor
Okay.
Steve. He did apologize to me, though,
Well,
so
I mean,
I appreciate it.
it is what it is. Like,
like Steve.
but again, that's what happens. You
That's-
see this. Imagine if you're John Harbaugh and you read that.
Oh, my God.
You published my private.
How could you?
published
I
my
don't-
private
I don't-
text between you and I?
Oh, did he really?
Yeah.
Oh, for God's sakes.
You imagine if you're Harbaugh.
Sure, that'll go over well.
You
All right.
you
All right.
published our text together.
All right, we got to move on. We got to move on.
What are we talking
There's
about?
actual
Sports?
Yeah, the Orioles lost. That was a.
Oh,
that
you
was
got
a
a
bummer.
20%, huh?
Well, you know the new.
You don't think he'll play in December either?
No, you know the new reading.
No.
So we're doing a new bit with the Lamar meter. The Lamar meter is
if he'll
back.
play in December?
No, it's not whether he's going to play in December.
14%.
It's a percentage chance that the Ravens will win a Super Bowl during Lamar Jackson's 5-year contract.
Who put 20 up there?
I did. I put
You're
up
a
20.
moron.
Why? What do you think the number is?
4.
4.
No. I would say 88.
88. Griffin was trying to go 50-50, and I was like, you're out of your mind.
They're going to win a Super Bowl with Lamar at some point. For sure.
I hope they do, but I'm not trying to live on hopes and vibes. I'm trying to come up with some sort of scientific approach to the likelihood of the Ravens winning a Super Bowl, which is not easy. Now, they have one fewer.
It's not easy.
They have
but
one fewer team to compete with in the AFC than we thought that they did going into this season, so that alone would probably bump it up 1%.
I've never seen anything like that.
What?
Just
The
that
Aaron
whole night.
Rodgers
that whole
thing?
night was bizarre.
Unbelievable. And the Bills lost. Did you hear the story about the? Wait a second. Did you hear the story about the bar in Milwaukee?
I did.
Oh my God! It's the greatest story of all
Did you
time.
see the one guy ran up a $300?
That's unbelievable.
The guy ran up a $365
For those
bill.
that don't, there was a bar in
He ran up a
Milwaukee
$365
that
bill.
did a promotion for Monday night. If Aaron Rodgers loses, everything's on us. And so when Aaron Rodgers got hurt, these nut jobs.
The owner even said, blinked the lights and said, "Hey, we're thinking about maybe making this, calling this thing at the half," and the people went ballistic.
Right.
He said, "No, you got me in here. You created this deal. We're staying." The guy ran up a $365 bill, and they lost.
Yep.
And they won.
Yep, that happened.
Dude, Josh Allen was he made Zach Wilson look good.
Terrible. It was terrible.
If I'm Buffalo, I mean,
there is something wrong there, and I don't know how to figure it. Like, there is something wrong in Buffalo.
I mean,
I don't.
They do have a little bit of what we have, although this year I think it's going to change. Like, every time Lamar goes back to throw, the first person he wants to throw to is Andrews, right? I mean, we've all seen that over the years.
Yeah.
Now, this year, I think there's a chance that that's going to change. But over the last 3 years, when Lamar drops back, the first thing he does is looks to see where Andrews is. This kid does the exact same thing with Diggs. Every single time, he just looks to him, right?
Well, yeah, and yet at the same time, every time he doesn't throw to Diggs, all I'm thinking to myself is, why are you
Diggs,
throwing
right,
to any
right.
of these other guys?
But how about the punt return?
Oh, I mean,
7 guys could have tackled him.
yeah, and the one guy got tripped, but like whatever, they were going to win anyway. I mean, they would have been on the 38-yard line if they called the
Right.
tripping penalty. They were going
Right.
to win the game, so
Right.
I'm not all that.
I don't
worked
even
up
know
about
that was a trip.
It was. I understand. We had this
I don't think it
conversation
was a
yesterday.
trip.
To say it wasn't purposeful, I completely believe it wasn't
Right.
purposeful. But you don't get to say, well, yeah, but I accidentally tripped someone,
Okay,
so we're not
if
going
you
to
want
call.
to just say he
that's
tripped him,
yeah,
that's fine.
Yes.
I don't think there was any intent.
No, I
there.
certainly don't think there was
Yeah.
intent, but that's not how the penalty works. Like, you don't get to say, well, I got away with it. Like, well, I accidentally committed pass interference, but, it was accidental. That's the way that
Anyway,
it goes.
back to the meter, 88%.
88.
They're going to win.
I'm not sure I'm going to let you set the meter at any point. I don't know if
I
I'm
don't
gonna
even know how we
choose you
do
to be
this,
the guest
right? Like,
meter reader.
I picked Philadelphia and Jacksonville at the beginning of the year.
Okay.
I don't.
Well, you're insane. Philadelphia struggled against New England.
right.
Yeah, right.
I don't know.
Jacksonville barely beat Indianapolis.
I don't know how we do this with any degree of certainty, because there isn't any. Because as we just saw, if Lamar goes down this week with his torn Achilles, the Ravens are done. If the Bengals Burrow gets hurt, they're done. If Josh Allen, well, they may be done anyway with Josh Allen. But this is all about who's alive in December.
100%.
Well, look at last
That's
year.
all it is.
If Lamar plays last December, there's no telling what the Ravens might have
That's
done.
it. 100%.
So there's just no way to do this. Like we're sitting here right now, September the whatever it is, 13th.
So who's going to win the Super Bowl?
Right. It could be Detroit and the Dolphins.
Denver,
To some extent,
Yeah,
yes.
No, it's not Denver, but it could be real. Dude, I'll tell you right now, the Dolphins could. If this kid stays upright the whole year and doesn't have another 3 concussions,
Right. Mm-hmm.
my-
Yes.
They're gonna score 35 points a
They absolutely
game.
look like they're going to do that. 100%.
I've never seen anything like this dude that catches the ball.
With Tyreek Hill?
It's unbelievable.
Yeah, plus, he's such a good guy. It's just easy to root for him.
He's not a bad guy.
What do you mean he's not a bad guy?
I'm getting him started now. We just pay to watch him play football.
That's
baby.
right. That's a great point.
It's unreal how good he is, and how no one's yet figured out when you're lined up one-on-one with him, he is faster than you.
I've
never seen anything like it.
Every time. No matter what.
These teams line him up one-on-one, and he runs right by him, and the dude throws the ball in there.
I mean,
and he catches
for what it's worth, I get you still have to try to play defense somehow. You can't just say, well, we're not going to rush the passer.
But
We're
they're
gonna
going to
let the
win.
guy-"
They'll win one with Lamar.
I hope you're right
They
about
will.
that.
They'll
I think
win one.
I certainly
It'll
think it's
all
possible.
fall together for them 1 year.
20% is the number.
It'll all fall together for them 1 year. They'll have a year where they don't get injuries, and maybe it's this year. Although, I think this Dobbins thing is underplayed.
I agree with that.
To me,
wholeheartedly, they have not proved once.
I think that this is underplayed. People are trying to poo-poo this as not a big deal, and this is a little bit. I'm going to use an Orioles analogy.
Mm-hmm.
It's a little bit like losing Batista. Can you survive without him?
Mm-hmm.
Sure. But will there come a game when you need to run the ball and it's week 13 and the other team has all the film on you they need, and they sit in their conference room on Thursday with their feet up on the desk and say, this game is done because they can't run the ball and we have a defensive formula that will negate Lamar and the past of Flowers. Because the Ravens can't run the ball, we got them.
I can't compare it to Batista. I can't go
that
far.
I'm just
but
using that as a.
I understand.
The Orioles
can
survive without him.
Yes.
Until it's Game 3,
right.
and they're tied 1-1 with the Astros, and it's 3-2 in the ninth, and Cano's been used the last 2 days, and he comes in to try to get 3 outs, and he can't. And Colombe comes in, or whatever, Colombe or whatever.
Colombe.
Whatever his name is, comes in, and he can't. And they lose 4-3 because they couldn't close the game out. And now the Astros are up 2-1, and the next day, Valdez, all of his chakras are in line, and they lose 2-0, and the season's over.
I hear you.
You can survive for a while without Dobbins. What you can't survive without is being able to run the football, in my opinion. I'm not saying it's not 3 yards in a cloud of dust. You don't have to run for 175 yards a game. I'm not saying that. What I'm saying is there's going to be a game of importance at some point, or 2, or 3, where getting the ball on the ground into the end zone using your running backs will matter. And without him, they're hamstrung. And if you're saying they aren't, you're just saying that to say it.
Oh, I understand. I agree. I agree with that part of it. I completely agree that it's going to hurt them more than
when was it?
Realize.
Was it 2 years ago when we trotted all those dudes out there week after week?
It was 2 consecutive years they trotted Latavius Murray and Kenyon Drake and Mike Davis and Devontae Freeman and Le'Veon Bell.
And those guys were okay.
Tyson Williams.
But they were okay. But there comes a time when
the point,
it can't
right?
be okay.
By the way, that's why a certain scenario, I'm surprised by the responses in Would You Rather Wednesday. We're going to do that next. Drew Forrester is here. Drew's Morning Dish.com. He hasn't brought up the Ryder Cup once, which is, I swear to God, a record for him to go 37 minutes without discussing the Ryder Cup. It's incredible.
I'm so excited.
Today's show is also brought to you by your local Toyota dealer, buyatoyota.com. The Toyota Tacoma comes in a range of models and trim lines, so you can choose the perfect Tacoma to reflect your unique personality and driving habits. Check out buyatoyota.com for deals on new Tacomas from your local Toyota dealer today. It's Glenn Clark Radio. Why bet with the big boys this football season? Instead, try your hand with the local book, Superbook Sports, this fall. Superbook Sports is the book next door. Just a dedicated team of the best odds makers in Las Vegas, making sure you get the best prices and parlays anywhere. And now, Superbook will give you a bonus of up to $250 when you sign up and wager on the same day and use the promo code GlennClark23, GLENNCLARK23. So bet with the best and use the promo code GlennClark23 this football season with Superbook Sports. Visit superbook.com for terms and conditions. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER.
6 chicken tenders made from fresh, never frozen Royal Farms world-famous chicken, a family-sized order of Western fries, honey mustard dipping sauce, and a 2-liter bottle of Dr. Pepper. It's Royal Farms' new Tucker's Tenders Meal. It's Justin Tucker's favorite, and at only $19.99, it'll be your favorite meal, too. The new Tucker's Tenders Meal, available only at Royal Farms. Now you can kick back, relax, and eat like a champion. Real fresh, real fast, Royal Farms.
The Maryland 5-Star returns to iconic Fair Hill October 19th to 22nd, marking the next chapter in Maryland's equestrian tradition. Best described as the triathlon of horse eventing, you won't want to miss this thrilling sport. Enjoy a fall festival with local fare, retail vendors, and tons of family fun. Come for the event and stay for the experience in Cecil County, home to the Chesapeake Bay waterfront with vibrant small towns and accommodations to suit every desire. It's the place to be in October. Visit Maryland5star.us for tickets.
It's a Maryland thing you wouldn't understand. Where the waves meet the shore, you will find Dorchester County. Hi, this is Jimmy Charles. When I think of Maryland, I think Dorchester County on the eastern shore where it's open for making memories. Dorchester County, it's a Maryland thing. For more info, visit www.visitdorchester.org. It's a Maryland thing. Hell yeah. It's a Maryland thing. Hell yeah.
What's up, everyone? It's Tyus Bowser, and I've had so much fun hanging out with Rita and putting up with Glenn the last couple years that I've decided to do it again. Season 3 of the Tyus Bowser Show is happening this year, as we'll be all over town, giving you the chance to get to know me and some of my teammates. As we talk football, life in general, and just say what needs to be said. You can find out more about the show by going to PressBoxOnline.com/Bowser. If you don't live in the area, you can watch the shows live on Facebook and YouTube. And if you miss one, you can listen Friday nights at 105.7 The Fan. So we'll see you all season long for the Tyus Bowser Show, a partnership of PressBox and Great Ace Memorabilia.
Gambling problem? Visit helpmygamblingproblem.org. The next Tyus Bowser Show is Tuesday, September 12th at the Hamilton Sports Bar and Grill, 5506 Harford Road. It's brought to you by Superbook Sports.
Gambling can be a fun and entertaining experience, but there are risks involved. If you're planning on betting on the game at the casino or on your phone or computer, know your limit, stay within it. Set a budget and a time to stop. Remember, gambling isn't a financial solution, and it doesn't mix well with alcohol or drugs. Know the risks and have a plan before you begin gambling. For free and confidential services, call 1-800-GAMBLER 24/7 or go to helpmygamblingproblem.org.
Make sure you're tuned in every Tuesday for PressBox fantasy football analyst Joe Serpico to get you ready for your Waiver Wire Wednesday, brought to you by Live Casino and Hotel. And if you have other fantasies you want fulfilled, subscribe to Glenn and Jeremy Kahn's OnlyFans page at... Wait, are people supposed to know about that?
Jahmeer Carter, Spalding alum, now University of Virginia defensive lineman. He's going to join us in a little bit as they get ready to take on Maryland on Friday night. Also this morning we're going to meet Dylan Budka, Kenwood native, also Kenwood alum, Dundalk native, who has signed with the UFC after a huge win on Dana White's Contender series.
October
last
7th,
week.
By the way, John Rollo's thing.
The Shogun Fights, yeah,
I'm
absolutely.
going.
Yeah, you were all in. You were all in. You were really excited.
By the way, how good
about
is this
that.
Royal Farms coffee?
Well, you're not gonna get me to argue about that. Although, as you know, I'd be a fraud because I don't drink coffee.
Yeah, what's wrong with you? You a weirdo?
When I was like
You know, some
14
kind of
years
moron?
old, I was obsessed because I had watched my parents drink coffee growing up. So I was like, I want to drink coffee, and I had that first sip.
Never
and I
liked
said,
it?
This sucks. Why do people drink this? And then I lied for a couple of years and pretended like I enjoyed it, and I was like, this is terrible. Like, who needs it? And then at the point in my life where everybody, I started doing mornings with you, everybody's like, well, why don't you drink coffee? And I was like, I've got enough vices. Like, I am genuinely concerned
Right.
about adding another
I
vice
love
to the
coffee.
list. Some people do.
I love it.
Mrs. Clark loves coffee.
I love it.
don't. I have never been a coffee drinker. Never at any point in my life.
All right.
That's coffee and
It's your fault.
coffee and cigarettes. Two
I've
of
never
all
had
of the
cigarettes.
vices I've had in my life. Those are
never-
two vices I've never had.
Me neither. Well, coffee.
I had when I was a kid. I had a legitimate. I would say I was soda addicted when I
Okay.
was. I drank
Coffee,
soda.
cigarettes, and gambling have been
at-
my three.
No, you. That doesn't seem right.
Nope.
Although I
I
got a
haven't bet on a sport in
minutes.
hours.
Yeah. I got a message from
bet on.
somebody that said, "Here's how much money in perpetuity since you bet with us, you lost." And I was like, "That ain't great."
Somebody reached out to you?
Yeah.
Oh, you mean an app did?
Yeah. And I
Said-
was like,
yeah.
"Well,
Oh, tell Mrs. Clark that
yeah,
one.
maybe I'll leave that one out of the."
What do we need that $6,000 for?
Right. What are we gonna do? Go to Bora Boring?
Yeah, right. And I'll win it back.
because
I
I'm
mean,
gonna get right back to betting with Superbook. That's the way it's gonna go.
You don't have to worry about that. I know I'm down
This might be
$6,000.
a far more appropriate time
But
to
don't
say.
worry.
If you or a loved one has a gambling problem, call 1-800-GAMBLER or go to helpmygamblingproblem.org. All right, let's get into
now Ryder Cup.
No, let's get into Would You Rather Wednesday. What is that? Next weekend? Is that when it is? The following weekend? All right. Yeah. Well, I'll let you bring it
Don't
up.
worry. I already talked to John. We got
Oh, yeah, you got a whole
got a
special
special.
program coming up. Would You Rather Wednesday? We got a great T-shirt.
I gave you one yesterday. Would you, for $2.5 million when you were 35 years old, would you be a Steelers fan for the next 25 years for $2.5 million?
For $2.5 million, all up front?
And nope,
Say-
$100,000 a year salary.
$100,000 a
untaxed.
year. What are you trying to hone in on my bit? What is this?
No, but I use somebody.
Drew's like, I got this great new idea for a segment that I'm going to
somebody
start.
sent me something.
We're going to do a scenario based like.
Oh, would you
Would you rather do this
Would you
or
do
that?
it? And you can't troll it. You are
100.
You're in.
No.
You got to break up with the.
No.
So starting now, I'm a
I-
Steelers
I-
fan.
I just don't have this.
Starting right now.
I don't have the ability to
for
be
the
a fan
next
of
25 years. You become a fan of the Steelers or Yankees. Put it in. I don't care which one.
Right.
Put it in there. Duke.
Yeah.
Well, you're already half a Duke fan.
That's a great point.
But would you do it for $100,000 a year?
Yeah. I mean,
I can't. Hang on. This is what does it require me to do?
You're in.
This is no. You're I am a Ravens fan, but I am by no means an active. I don't do anything. I don't buy jerseys. I don't
drive up there a couple times for a game.
That's what I'm saying.
Go to the Steelers
if
bar.
it requires me to do those, then I can't do it.
Okay.
I don't have the bandwidth.
Makes you a bad guy.
No, it doesn't by any stretch of the imagination.
Kids could use that $100,000.
Yeah, they definitely could. There's no question about that. I don't have the bandwidth by which to do these things. If all it required me to do is tell people, yeah, I like the Steelers, then yeah, sure, you're right, I can do it.
You're in.
But I'm not a fan of any. I used to be a fan of bands. I can't even do.
You're in. You
Drew messaged me the night he's at the dude. I'm at the OAR show. Glenn's obviously here. Messages me, hey bro, where you at?
Right.
I'm like, I'm at home.
Right.
That's what I'm doing.
I'm having a bad run here. Springsteen, and then I had ninth row seats to see Aerosmith.
Did you really in D.C. and then
I've never seen them. That's my bucket.
Oh, you've never seen Aerosmith?
It's my bucket list. Got to see them.
I have a real problem because, obviously we're all going to be spending money on Orioles playoff tickets in a minute, and my bucket list is the Rolling Stones. That's my thing.
Okay.
I've never seen the Stones, and they just put out this new song because they have this album coming out, so obviously they're going to do one more.
No one's quite sure it's them.
Well, I don't know. It sounds amazing.
There's a lot of people saying it's not really them.
What does that even mean?
That they've doctored up Mick's voice and put it into a digital thing.
That's what everyone. Third Eye Blind does that.
No, but I mean,
everyone
this isn't even
does
Mick singing.
That.
They've taken Mick's voice.
It's AI?
Yes.
Well,
that's what everybody says.
No, it sounds great. I don't care if it is. It sounds incredible. So that's my thing.
What are Oriole playoff tickets going to cost?
Oh,
Do we know
for
yet?
God, Drew. Just don't let Ethan know.
We're not going.
We're not. Whatever
we're not going.
it is, it's not.
Go down
happening.
there and stand by the stadium.
100%.
Just be part of it.
Yeah, right. So yeah, I'm worried about that. Anyway, would you rather Wednesdays? You know what? Somebody, Josh Charles gave me one the other day too that I forgot to include. Josh at the end of the game on Sunday, his son said to him, "Dad, I would have rather we lost the game than lost all 4 of these players."
I did that. I wrote that the next day.
Did you really?
Which would you have rather had?
Yeah.
I published a thing on Twitter. Would you have rather the Ravens lost and no one got hurt, or win and what happened? Which one would you rather have had? I wrote that that night.
I mean, I hate saying that it feels obvious that the answer is you'd rather they lose and keep all those guys, but at some you can
your sub answer to that's going to be, well, at some point they were getting hurt anyway.
It's that, and on the flip side, there's only so many times you can say that. Like, the games have to matter at some point. You can feel that way because it's week 1. Like, week 1, you're like, wow, there's 16 games ahead of you. But if we pose the same question in week 16, when they need a win in order to win the division, you'd say, this is crazy. You have to win the game. So you've got to be able to keep that perspective when
Part of it also, the subset to it is, how long is Stanley and Lindenbaum going to be out?
Correct.
Are they out 4 games?
Right.
Or 2 games?
Right.
Or 1 game?
Yeah.
If they're out 1 game, not a big deal.
Correct.
But they're going to go there this week and get their doors blown off. And they're going to come home the following week against Indianapolis and win no matter if those guys play or not. So they're going to be 2-1 no matter what. So that's what I'm saying.
Jacksonville tried to lose to Indianapolis. They did their best.
Indianapolis isn't coming here and winning.
I don't think
the Ravens are going to go there this Sunday and get clobbered. They're going to come home and win, and they're going to be 2-1 no matter if these guys play or not.
So, but ultimately, do we understand that you have to take that you have to say that you would rather win? Is it the requirement?
56-44 was the Twitter. 56 said win. 44 said lose.
It's tough, man. It's tough. I understand it. It's tough.
It is
tough.
All
right. Number 1. Would you rather?
Yes.
The Colts' asking price for Jonathan Taylor comes down. It's now Patrick Queen and a 3rd-round pick. Or just stick with the guys that you got in the backfield. Griffin got really excited because it was this scenario where he could get rid of Patrick Queen, who he refuses to acknowledge is a good football player. He's like, I can get rid of a guy that's great? Yeah. True.
I'm going to... Yeah, I think it's
Drew's just staring off into
space.
space.
I'm thinking, what's his contract status?
Taylor,
1 more year, right?
Yes.
Or 2?
Yes. Hang on a second.
By
the way, a lot of people have brought that up. I'm not telling you whether or not they'd re-sign him. Like, you guys want that.
No, you don't have to do that.
I'm not telling you
tell
that.
me if he's got a full year left.
This is the final year.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not giving up Patrick Queen for Jonathan Taylor if he's got 1 year left.
It's Patrick Queen's final year, too, right?
I know, but they're going to re-sign Patrick Queen.
Are they?
Yes.
Where is all this money coming from that they can sign 2?
They're going to re-sign.
He's about to break the bank. He's not going to get – maybe he's not going to get Roquan money, but it only takes 1 team.
The Jets are so ready to pay him.
Like, Patrick Queen is going to get an extraordinary amount of money, and If you're telling me the Ravens are going to sign him,
The Ravens
God
have
bless.
a history of keeping everybody they want to keep.
I understand that,
And
but
I
once
think
upon a time
they kept
couldn't.
Roquan.
They
so.
couldn't keep both Ray Lewis and Bart Scott, right? Like
Bart Scott, please.
I understand that.
Lord.
I understand, but what I'm saying is they spent $20 million per year on a linebacker already. I don't know how many off-ball linebackers you can pay extraordinary amounts of money to, and Patrick Queen is pricing himself into that territory.
Yeah, no, he's a very good player. I'm still going to say I don't want Taylor for that price.
Okay.
Because I think we're going to need to win a lot of games 19-13.
Really?
Based on what I'm seeing.
If that's the case, then I think you might as.
I'm not getting rid of Queen.
For different reasons, I'm also going to say I think we got to stick with what we have here.
You had the opportunity
I
to trade
know,
away Patrick
I
Queen,
know,
and you
but,
wouldn't. Well, then
like,
nobody's doing it. If Griffin's
Jonathan
not going to do
Taylor.
it, then nobody's doing it.
Yeah, I mean, it's, plus a
And
third round pick. That's a
Taylor's
lot.
a good running back.
But the idea, of course, we understand what the reasoning would be. The reasoning why it would make sense is because a third-round pick is what you think you would get back in a compensatory pick if you don't sign Jonathan Taylor.
I like Gus Edwards a lot, and I like Justice Hill.
I'm
So
like,
ask me again in 2 or 3 weeks.
Yeah, this is where
those guys
this
are
is
both one knee sprain away.
This is the difficult part I have about this conversation. I think that you can argue why you don't do it, but the people that are this is the falling in love with the guys you have thing, which is weird because normally in
no
Baltimore,
one else in the league wants either one of those guys.
We fall in love with the guys that don't play for us, right? But in Baltimore, this is no, Justice Hill, baby. Like, he ran for 1 yard per carry on Sunday. 1. I get it. He scored 2 touchdowns, and that's neat. He ran for 1 yard per carry. What? I hope it works out. I pray it works out.
I mean, he can't keep.
But
running
talking
for 1
about
yard per
this,
carry.
like, I hope you're right about that, Griffin. Number 2.
No one in the league would take Justice Hill.
I mean, somebody would take
But
him.
not to be the regular
not
running
correct.
back. I mean,
right. I understand that. Number 2. Would you rather?
I'll tell you what I would do.
What?
If he'll give us the helmets back.
Oh, yeah.
I'd do it.
Do that swap right now.
Give us the Colts helmets back, you scumbags, and we'll do it.
But wait a second. To do what? With? You're acting like you would want the Ravens to wear the Colts helmets then moving forward.
Because we become the Baltimore Colts.
You would abandon.
And they become the
All right,
Indianapolis
well,
Ravens.
That's not going to happen. That's not going to.
Ravens for the Colts.
Just give us the helmets and the colors.
Number
back.
2. Would you rather? Miraculously, indeed, Felix Bautista is going to be back for the playoffs.
Well,
And
you
in
know
fact,
they're pitching him again.
And in fact, well, I don't know that.
Oh.
And stop. Wait a second.
That's
Stop.
coming.
But they might. Look, they're clearly trying. But at some point, if he physically
My arm
can't,
doesn't feel good.
Yeah,
Doesn't matter.
Yeah,
Keep throwing.
go right ahead on out there. Felix Bautista is back for the playoffs, and miraculously, on top of that, is Felix Bautista in the playoffs. But it means that between the now and I can't even play the game. Between now and here, I'm going to do a bit for $100,000. Which that's not happening.
Will you shut up for $100,000? Go ahead.
But it means that between now and the end of baseball season, everything you consume, every food, every beverage, and even every toiletry you use must be pumpkin spiced. Or, gonna have to take our chances.
So how long does this go for?
And whenever baseball season ends,
I've
early
got-
November.
And what's the caveat?
Everything you eat, any food you consume. You couldn't just go have a pizza. If you want pizza, you'd have to find a pumpkin spice pizza. Everything you eat, every beverage you consume, coffee, soda, water, whatever it is, beer, has to be, and also all of your toiletries. Your toothpaste, your deodorant, your
and
shampoo.
he is the old Felix Bautista.
And he is the guy. He's the guy.
I love pumpkin, but that's a no.
You're going to pass. You're just going to take your chances.
Toss him back out there with his bad arm. Let's see how that goes.
Okay.
'Cause you know what's going to happen. He's got 5 innings left in him.
You think that's magically is 5?
I think he's got. I would say he's got some amount of time left
before
he's going to tear his
before
UCL
he turns into a pumpkin.
And that's
it.
it. He'll throw. It could be his first inning, or he could get 3 guys out in game 1 and 3 guys out in game 2, and then throw 1 pitch in game 3, and it's gone.
All right, very good.
He's pitching again, by the way.
I'm still not
92%.
I'm still not sure about that.
For Felix Bautista to be Felix Bautista, yeah. I mean, all the guys that took him yard this year, they're not even going to make the playoffs.
Everything.
Yeah, everything. Yeah, it would make me
Everything
feel,
you consume.
more involved with the season.
Oh,
yeah.
Oh, in touch with your inner
Yeah.
basic white girl. Yeah,
Yeah,
that's the
I
way
love
it's
the
gonna
fall,
go.
you know.
I love default S2, but there's no chance in hell.
Yeah.
By the
This
way,
is
if
easy.
I
I don't
thought
think-
this is the
What
awkward.
about Mugu Gai Pan? Does that have to have pumpkin in it?
Right,
too?
yes, even your Mugu guy
Forget
fan
about
has
it.
to be pumpkin spice.
Never mind.
The point would be if I believed that was the singular difference in them winning the World Series. Like if I thought that otherwise, if I felt confident when Felix Bautista got hurt that this was a team that was going to win the World Series, then I in a legitimate world I might be able to say yes to that.
What did we bet on, by the
Hell-
way? Asian Kitchen. We bet on something.
Oh God, what was our bet? Son of a bitch! It was. Oh, Griffin, you were supposed to measure
I
this.
shoulda
You're
had-
gonna have to
no,
go
I
back
shoulda
and
wrote
find
down
it now.
somewhere.
It was the number of games Rashod Bateman plays. That's
Correct.
exactly what it was, and the number we played with was 12. Yep,
Yes. Yeah,
12.
yeah.
You need to write that down.
I do
somewhere.
have it written down.
All right.
And what's the bet? It's just for the Asian.
Dinner at the Asian or lunch at the Asian Kitchen.
I already
Can't
called
afford
over.
some dinner.
Yeah,
I already
you're
called over.
confident.
Told him we're coming.
I'm already one there. I'm already
Right.
on my way.
Yep.
You'll hear from Rashod Bateman later on this program, segment number 1 of the Tyus Bowser Show. And number 3.
I can't believe you said that about Flacco last night.
Yeah,
On
it was,
the
it
air.
was
have-
weird. I don't even know why.
On
I
the
can't-
air.
yeah, it's super weird.
I have
Joe
this one written down.
stinks.
No,
Glenn,
that wasn't it.
Glenn says he'll get Baltimore tattooed on his back if the Orioles win a World Series. That was
This
in
year.
April. That was in
What-
April. Yeah.
So I'm
yeah.
doing. It's the Gervonta Davis tattoo. I told the mayor and I were having a conversation for
okay.
some reason, and if you know the over the top Gervonta Davis tattoo, we were joking about the idea of getting it if the Orioles won the World Series, and I
Arms
just
look
said,
big in his shirt.
"Yeah, do they?" I said, "You you back on steroids again?"
So you're
You
getting a
use it.
tattoo if the Orioles
I'm
win the-
gonna. Have you ever seen Gervonta Davis's tattoo?
I think
oh
so.
God, man, it
You're
is.
getting a tattoo.
If they win, this year, I will get the Gervonta Davis back tattoo. Hang on a
What's
second.
wrong with you?
I don't know.
So-
it would be so very exciting. Look, that's his tattoo. With
On June
Baltimore
15th.
written out on his back.
On June 15th, Drew said the Orioles would win the division by 5 games.
Well, there's a real chance of that,
Yeah.
but we didn't make a bet about it.
No,
did we?
but-
So it doesn't mean
but
anything. That doesn't mean
I've been
anything.
telling you this. I've been telling you this for all summer.
But by the way, it doesn't feel great that it's going to be 5 games. They need to start. Somebody's got to
Well,
pitch
this series
at some point.
will
Yeah,
almost
this
determine
weekend.
it, yeah.
100%.
This will end it. They'll both win today. The Orioles will have a 3-game lead. The Tampa will win Friday night because Flaherty's pitching. And
No, we're going to do the Trey Turner thing.
Oh yeah, are you on board with that?
Yeah.
We try and tell everybody to go cheer for give him a
how
raucous
can you cheer
ovation.
for him when he's losing 4-0?
That was the Trey Turner thing. The Trey Turner
Trey
stunk.
Turner's a real player.
Well, stop. Jack Flaherty used to be a real player.
yeah, right.
Young,
right.
yeah.
Trey Turner stunk. Everybody went to a game and gave him a raucous ovation at his first at bat.
No, I can't get out now.
And
Hit another homer last
He's
night.
been really good since. So in the same way, our plan is that everybody goes. Not our plan. Somebody else said it on Twitter. That's the way it started. That we send everybody to the game on Friday night with a sold-out crowd, and everybody's ramped up from the Adam Jones ceremony, and we have them all give Jack Flaherty a rousing
Ain't
ovation.
happening. He stinks. But we're going to wrap it up.
We're aware that he stinks. That's the point, Drew.
We're going to wrap it up in Cleveland on that Saturday.
Oh, for God's sakes! All right,
I'm just telling you.
number
That Saturday we wrap it up.
Number 3, you're the New York Jets. Would you rather, indeed, Tom Brady wants one more shot, or
You might as well stop.
okay?
You don't even need to tell me.
Well, did you see their
Or the
offensive
doors
line?
come back.
Did you see their offensive line?
I did. 4 plays, 2 sacks.
So the other side is, would you rather have a more athletic quarterback of some sort? Maybe say, I don't know, a Tyler Huntley. Anyone who could avoid standing in the pockets.
I don't know.
This is just your obsession with Tom Brady. That's all this is. You're
yeah,
obsessed.
but there
on-
is something to be said for
I'm
that. I mean,
aware.
their line is terrible.
It's dreadful.
And you need whoever it is.
And he's 50 years old.
Tyrod Taylor or Huntley or I saw Taylor playing for the Giants. Anyway, I
Try to answer the question legitimately. Think that you're the GM of the Jets.
would probably go with somebody more athletic,
All right.
just because there's just no way Brady's going to play and not get hurt.
Right, get murdered
Because
by
you're
that.
gonna, he's going to get killed.
100%. All right, there you go. That's Would You Rather Wednesday. Get your answers in at Glenn Clark Radio on Twitter, Facebook.com/Glenn Clark Radio. What's your deal? Do you need to go take food to your son? Do you need?
No, I'm good for a while.
You can get staying for a while.
15 more minutes or 20
All right.
minutes.
Well, we're gonna
Whatever.
we're
as long
gonna
as I get paid for the hour.
Oh well, I've been meaning to talk to you about
Okay.
that. Been meaning. To talk
I'm
to you
back
about
to the
it.
half-hour pay now.
Hour number 1 has been brought to you by Superbook. Again, use the code GlennClark23 when you sign up at superbook.com or download the Superbook app. And when you do, you will get your first bet matched up to $250, win or lose, with free bets. So make your deposit, same day, first bet, up to $250, matched, win or lose, in free bets if you use the code GlennClark23 when you sign up. All right, into hour number 2 of the program. Coming up this Friday night, Virginia plays at Maryland in College Park. Going to be a raucous Friday night atmosphere. Joining us now, Virginia defensive lineman, Baltimore native, and Archbishop Spalding alum. He is Jahmeer Carter, and he is with us here on GCR. Jahmeer, it's Glenn and Drew in Baltimore. It's great to chat with you, man. Thank you so much for taking the time for us this morning.
Thank you for having me, for giving me the opportunity to be here.
Absolutely, Jahmeer.
I went to Glen Burnie, by the way, just so you know. I'm still fond of you, even though you guys were sort of our rivals back in the old day.
Yeah, perfect.
Rivals, though, Drew.
Well, they
really
were Martin.
rivals.
I'm so old, it was called Martin Spalding.
Oh, God, you are old. All right, never mind. Drew is old. Jahmeer, it's great to chat with you, man. Let's go back. Let me take a few steps back. First of all, your path from growing up here in Baltimore to ending up at Spalding. Why was Spalding the right fit for you, and how do you feel like Spalding helped launch you to this point where, let's be honest, you're kind of on the edge of a pro career?
When I think back at my trajectory so far, I think Spalding really, to me, was the best place where, I can develop as a person, to the best of my abilities, and a football player as well. At the time, I really loved the environment that Spalding had, and the coaching staff, and all the faculty members that were there. So, that's why I really chose Spalding.
Why was Virginia the right fit for you coming out of high school? Why was that the place you wanted to be?
Similar to my high school experience, I wanted to find a place where, there was a strong community, a strong sense of, family environment and leadership. And this was really the best place for me where I could develop even more.
So I got to be honest with you, man. This Friday night thing, this worries me a little bit, because what I don't know is, would you have chosen? Did Maryland even try to get in touch with you, or did they just completely miss out on you? And now you're going to come back here and say, okay, I'm going to have 5 sacks in this game to show them what it is they missed out on.
At the time of my recruiting, they did recruit me. They recruited me all through high school. So there was some attention there.
All right, so this is not – it's not personal is what you're saying. I know you want to play well and win the game anyway, but it's not personal. You don't have anything to prove to anybody here.
No, it's not personal.
Okay.
I always try to keep the same approach week in and week out, despite who we're playing.
I understand that entirely. Jahmeer Carter with us as we are getting ready for Maryland and Virginia on Friday night. That said, and I'm sure, the good news for you is that I'm sure your family, your friends, will be able to come down and see you play a ton over the years because you're not too far away. But this on Friday night, can I assume there'll probably be even more folks that are there to watch you on Friday night, maybe even a bigger crowd?
Oh, yeah, for sure. I can assume there'll be, more people just because, it's not too far from Baltimore. So I'm excited for the turnout.
That'd be cool. Jahmeer, I know it's been a tough time for the last year at Virginia, and you guys went through something that I can't even fathom what it's been like. How have you guys tried to handle wanting to play for your fallen teammates and the guys that you lost? And I know it's got to be something that makes it even difficult. Like, it's got to be something that you think about all the time. But what has it been like trying to honor those guys and wanting to do and accomplish the goals that those guys had?
Yeah, like you said, it's never easy to experience something like that and, to try to move forward. But we try to come in week in and week out and, try to uplift to the standards that we've set here and the standards that we know that those guys, Laveau, Devin, and Deshaun, that, they will want us to perform to. So, really, we try to honor that memory through everything we do. So it's rather, academics or, even football.
It's something, unfortunately, as we're chatting with Jahmeer Carter, Baltimore native, Spalding alum, Virginia defensive lineman. Unfortunately, obviously, as I'm sure you know, at Maryland, when Jordan McNair passed away a few years ago, for years I would talk to guys that would say, I want to accomplish those goals, but I want to accomplish it for Jordan. I want to feel like I'm helping him accomplish a goal. And it's such it almost, I don't know if it becomes a burden at some point, like that you worry that you're letting those guys down. Does it ever time become a weight that you guys have to carry trying to play for your brothers?
I think it is a weight, but not in a negative way. So what I mean by that is, even if we, or let's say me, if I had never accomplished something, I wouldn't feel as much that I let them down, because I know, they will still be happy and proud despite what the outcome is, as long as, our effort is there and everything else.
Well, what is it? I think a lot of people are aware of the fact that this tragedy occurred, but maybe don't know those guys and what they were. Is there anything that you could tell us specifically about those guys that you guys have been missing and trying to honor that we should know about on a national perspective?
Really, all three of those guys, they were determined each and every day. Each of them individually had goals that they wanted to achieve themselves, but really they came in each day, with a smile on their face, energetic, and really was grateful for opportunities that they were given in the moment.
Jahmeer, you guys, I know it's been a tough start to the season, sitting at 0-2 as you head to Maryland. What is it that obviously it was very close last week, and you were right there. What's the biggest difference? What right now do you feel like is, if this clicks, we're going to be able to start ramping this thing up that, obviously around here we're hoping doesn't click come Friday nights?
Really, I think it all starts with our, fundamentals, and in certain situations is really focusing in on the little things, making sure we're assignment sound is really the most important part.
You guys, the idea of you coming in here, this is a Maryland team that is certainly moving in the right direction, and there's some belief that they could make some noise in the Big Ten. How nice would it be? I know that I don't even know if the Virginia-Maryland rivalry of the ACC past means anything to you, or if anybody's tried to talk to you about it this week. But would that be at all a little bit more special? Are you at all aware of the history there, and why for Virginia fans it would be more meaningful for you guys win this one?
Yeah, like any rivalry game in college football, there's always a ton of history and emotion behind it. And I also understand that when in any rivalry game, despite who we're playing, that will mean so much to the fan base, and to all the people that came before, us and me that have played in that game.
You are, as I mentioned earlier, you are on the path to carving out a pro career for yourself, Jahmeer. I know team goals are obviously at the top of the list, but what is it that you personally wanted to make sure that you show to everyone this season in order to get to that place, in order to make sure that you're playing on Sundays next year?
Really, one of my goals is, I wanted to show that I'm technically sound in everything I do, and I can be someone, week in and week out that's consistent, despite who the opponent is. And I always try to play my absolute best to a standard.
Have you started to feel a little bit, have you started to get the sense of that this is real, that, the things that I've wanted to do, they're playing out? This really could be plausible for me, that I'm going to be doing this professionally a year from now?
I'll say, yes, I have had those thoughts, but I would say, really in the moment, it's really hard to, focus on something so big and then try to perform your best in the moment. So I'll really, try to take it day by day, and, when I lift my head up, we'll see where we're at in the future.
I understand that. I completely get it, and it's probably the right way to handle things. But we're imagining how cool it would be if you were, say, wearing purple next year and running out the tunnel at M&T Bank Stadium, which would be maybe the coolest thing that could ever possibly happen. So that would be a wild thing that we can root for. Jahmeer Carter, I know everybody got excited about Spalding this year. Malik looks like maybe one of the best quarterbacks in the entire country. Do you need to go have a pep talk with them or something? They tried to lose to Concordia. They turned around. They lost the week afterwards. Do you got to go, get up there and whip some guys around and say, what the hell's going on up here?
I would say, just because of my schedule in college football, I really don't have a lot of time to get in contact with those guys. But I'm always rooting from a distance, and I know the talent that coming in and out of that program. And I know Coach Schmidt, and the rest of the staff, so they're going to turn that thing around.
I know you're right. It's just been a little bit of a bumpy start.
Wait till they got Calvert Hall.
Yeah, 1 week from Friday night,
Calvert
they get
Hall.
Calvert Hall. That's right. 1 week from Friday night. That'll be a big one for sure. Jahmeer, where can folks around here be giving you a follow? Twitter, Instagram, anywhere like that. Where can they be giving you a follow as you continue on your journey?
So you guys can follow me on Twitter, and my handle is I am Jahmeer, spelled IAMJAHMEER.
Jahmeer, I apologize. I was saying Jahmeer the entire time. We'll make sure we get it right moving forward. Jahmeer, I am so sorry about that, my friend. Jahmeer, congratulate. Look, you know the deal. We can't pretend like we're rooting for you on Friday night. It's just the way that it goes. But we'll root for you personally moving forward and all the success you continue to have. Thank you. Congratulations on everything you've accomplished so far. Thanks for taking the time for us. Look forward to chatting with you again down the road, all right?
Thank you. Thanks for having me on the show today.
Jahmeer Carter from the University of Virginia, Baltimore native and Spalding alum. Yeah, there was a lot of excitement surrounding Spalding.
Well, the athletic program there in whole,
yes,
has, I would say, and I don't even know, I'll say 10 years. In the last 10 years, there's probably not been an MIAA school that has improved
grown
to the level they have in all of their sports.
Mm-hmm.
Their golf team won the championship 3 or 4 times, maybe 3. Basketball's been very good. Baseball's been unbelievable. Football's been very much improved.
And lacrosse has been,
lacrosse has been better. That's probably the one sport. Soccer and lacrosse.
No, but they had been, lacrosse has very much been in contention to win that league.
Yeah, soccer has probably been the one that hasn't quite yet, caught up to the others. But baseball, they're as good as anybody. Golf, they've been very competitive. Football, they've been very competitive. Basketball, they've been very good. They have an outstanding coach there. Spalding's really worked hard over the last 10 years to upgrade their athletics there, big time. Now, they had a lot of room to grow.
Yep, correct. That's true.
But, they have.
They have a quarterback named Malik Washington who is
everybody's raving
really thought of as one of the top quarterback prospects in the country.
Yep.
He has already gotten offers from Maryland.
They had to.
Penn
I don't
State.
remember where he went, but they had one of the best 3 or 4 players basketball in the A
Cam
conference.
Whitmore.
Yeah.
Cam Whitmore is in the NBA.
No, that's not him then.
Okay. I'm like,
no.
Yes, he was a big deal.
It's way more recent than that.
Well, Cam Whitmore would have only been like 2 years ago.
Yeah, but it wasn't him.
Okay, I'm not saying there wasn't another one, but Cam Whitmore's
with the shot at Concordia football there. Yeah.
Well, I mean,
good team.
that would have been a stunning upset.
I mean,
that would have been a stunning upset for them to have beaten Spalding.
Yes.
And again, just because of the direction that Spalding appears to be going and the level. I'm not trying to take a shot at Concordia, but that would have been. And by the way, I still think that even coming that close, and frankly, Spalding needing a miracle to have won the game, is a statement about where Concordia is headed, right? That they're trying to move and be more competitive.
It is him.
Yeah. I don't know who you.
It is. Because I didn't think his first name was Cam. When you said Whitmore, that got to me.
Cam Whitmore is with the Rockets. He was. It was a little bit.
He went to Villanova for 1 year.
Yes, it was a little bit disappointing because a lot of people thought he was a top 10 pick, and for whatever reason, he slid down and only went at the 20th pick in the NBA draft. So it was actually disappointing.
I didn't think his name was Cam. I mean, it is. But
it's definitely Cam.
No, I know. But when you said that, I'm like, it does sound like Whitmore, but I didn't think his first name was Cam.
Yeah.
But anyway, Spalding's done very well.
Next Friday night, that game against Calvert
next
Hall.
Friday night, they're getting punched in the mouth.
Here we go. That's our guy.
Let's go, Cards.
That's our guy.
How about yesterday, Loyola? By the way, Loyola soccer very improved. First time Calvert Hall lost in 34 games yesterday.
Really?
Calvert Hall's down this year for sure.
Okay.
It's you know what I love? I'm going to leave on this note and leave you with. I'll start this fire and leave.
Okay, good.
I love how many people go online,
right
and it's so funny to see all of these roll Dons roll people talking about yesterday's soccer game. I'm like, where are you people been for 5 years?
Man, there we go. There's our guy.
While you weren't doing any winning, where have you been?
There's our guy.
I love it.
There's old
but
Drew.
I will say, They are very, very good, Loyola. I have not seen John Carroll, although John Carroll's had the weirdest year. I'm not – they've either tied every game, so there's no more ties. I mean, there's no more overtime.
Yeah, they did that at the college level too. They got rid of
It's the dumbest thing they've ever done.
This is the funny thing because anything you do that it's Loyola University, the first season because last year was the first year of no overtime in college soccer, and they had 8 ties on the season.
I think John Carroll is either 0 wins and 4 ties, or 1 win and 3 ties. Yeah. John Carroll's supposed to be the ace of the league. McDonough's good. McDonough tied Gilman yesterday. Gilman lost to Coward Hall, and I don't know that Gilman has a loss since then, but because they've tied them all. Like play
everything's
it's
tied.
Bizarre.
Yes, everything's tied.
But Loyola, of the teams I've seen so far, I would say Loyola looks like they're the best. Now, I have not seen John Carroll. I've seen everybody else of the teams that are good. So Coward Hall's down. I mean, they lost the kid, and this is the funniest thing about any sport, but particularly in high school. And I go through it with golf all the time. And when you have these teams like Coward Hall had last year, they had Medore, Moneth, the big boy in the back that went to Navy, Nagy. When you have these, they had the kid up front who left, Bilal, who went somewhere else, Angelini, who's at Loyola now, right? Mm-hmm. When you have those core
Cody
of
Angelini,
kids,
yes.
People have no idea, like, what those core of kids did for Coward Hall. Sure. Now, other schools have that too, right? Like, I'm just using that as an example. So now when they're down, and people are like, I don't understand what happened. What's going on with Coward Hall? What's going on with Coward Hall is you had 4 of the best 20 soccer players they've had there in 20 years on the same team. And they all left.
Yep.
Richie Moneth gone. Ben Medore gone. Nagy gone. This other boy gone. Angelini. Like, they're gone.
Yep.
How do you replace them?
Yep.
So
I think it's going to be okay. I think they're going to be all right.
They'll be okay.
Yeah, I think they'll be all right.
They might have a down year this year.
For the record, Diana Rossini reports this morning that the Jets will not reach out to Tom Brady about interest.
It would be fun if
coming
they
back
did.
to play.
You got to admit that.
She says that Brady is also making it very clear to people close to him that he is just done. He's not.
Well, he rang the bell the other day.
I mean, he was definitely.
You can't come back from ringing the bell.
I mean, it was pretty. That was pretty over the top. That was pretty over the top.
Everyone knows once you ring the bell.
How could it be? How is there anything?
And it could be over the top for Tom Brady. I understand.
Come on,
that's fair.
He's
fair.
Tom Brady.
I know. I mean, in the context of like announcing you're done. Like going out of your way to announcing you're done. Okay. Whatever the Patriots want to do for Tom Brady, I get it. The guy won 6 Super Bowls for them. They should, rename everything. They could call themselves the New England Tom Brady's.
Correct.
How
funny would that be, by the way, if they did that and they put his
by the way, head
on the helmet?
We got into this yesterday. So Michael Lombardi has a book out right now.
Okay.
And we had him on to talk about it. And there's a passage in his book of why Michael Lombardi, of course, was with the Browns for years.
Right.
In their front office. And he wrote a passage in that book. It's a very short passage about why he doesn't think Art Modell should be in the Hall of Fame. He said it's nothing.
I don't either, by the way.
But you think it's because of the move.
Correct.
He thinks it's because he's the guy who fired Paul Brown, Marty Schottenheimer, and Bill Belichick.
He fired 2.5 Hall of Fame coaches.
If you fire those 3 coaches, 3 of the, I think he said like 8 winningest coaches of all time, that if you fire those 3 coaches, you can't be in the Hall of Fame.
I mean, okay. Paul Brown, a pioneer, and the Belichick thing, fair enough.
But
hold on.
Wait. No, but actually, the smart football minds would tell you that Marty Schottenheimer is the better coach.
I was just going to say,
yeah, right?
Let's be honest. Belichick was nothing without Tom Brady.
That's what we ended up talking about yesterday.
And I'm not suggesting that even now you're seeing more of what Bill Belichick really is, because I'm not stupid. Bill Belichick's a great coach.
Correct.
And he's a Hall of Fame coach. But let's also understand, Mac Jones ain't looking like Tom Brady up there.
How do we appropriately have this
joke.
conversation?
He said that he doesn't vote for him because of that?
Because he was the guy that fired those 3 coaches. And in fairness, if you go back and do the history lesson, like he fired Marty Schottenheimer because he meddled. Because he said to Marty Schottenheimer,
that's what all coaches do.
You have to hire.
They all meddle.
No. It's Art Modell meddled. Like, he went to Marty Schottenheimer when they were having a run of wild success and said, you have to hire a different...
Schottenheimer was the coach with the fumble, right?
For the fumble, yes, 100%.
Okay.
Said, you have to hire a different offensive coordinator. Marty Schottenheimer said no, and he fired him.
Okay, well, that may. I would never vote for Art because I would. And now again, people are always going to go, "Oh, Al Davis." I wouldn't have voted for him either. I would never vote for an owner who moved the team, and that's just me. I know that makes me an old guy yelling at the clouds.
Yeah,
I don't care. I would never vote for an owner who moved the team out of their city. I just wouldn't. That'd be the end of it. It's just like the Pete Rose thing. You can howl all you want about, well, we got DraftKings now, and we got Superbook, and we got all these people, and we got gambling, and that's all well and good. Pete Rose bet on the games when he was managing the team. He can't be in the Hall of Fame. I don't know any other nice way to say it. So there you go. And it's the same thing.
I got to think about that.
It's the same way with Art Modell. I would just not vote for someone who moved the team.
What is that shirt, by the way? Is that
my shirt?
What tour is that? The Water
This is Red Veil.
Who's Red Veil?
He's the rapper that I saw him in May. He's like 19 years old. He's from PG County.
He's terrible. Sure.
No, he's not. He's
probably is.
No, he's not. It's a great concert.
If you say so.
Yeah. Water to Fire.
I don't know why. I was like, what is that?
The back really cool.
Anyway, so
yeah.
to me, it's a far more egregious mistake to move the team than it is to fire Paul Brown.
Look, I don't really want to get into that debate today.
But I've never heard anyone say that before. That's interesting.
And that's what I said too. I was like, look, we disagree because I do think, to me, it's, as I've always said about Art Modell, it's the scope of what their impact was. And if you're putting owners in, because if somebody said, we're just not going to put owners in, well, then fine, right? Like, I'm good with that. Don't put any owners in.
I think there is an argument for that, too.
But if you're going to put owners in and try to measure, if you're going to put the NFL Films guys in, if you're going to put the Sables in the Hall of Fame.
And they're saying that, because the template for admission is that you can't tell the story of the league without them.
Correct.
Then, if that's the template,
then Art Modell has to be in the Hall
Art
of
would
Fame.
be in.
Like, that's my argument is, I didn't tell you had to put the Sables in the Hall of Fame. You said that. And if you said that, and by the way, even within Michael Lombardi's book, he says Art Modell wouldn't be in the Hall of Fame, but he talks that Howard Cosell should be in the football, not in the broadcasting wing, and not in the, he got the whatever award they call it, the Roselle Award, that he should be recognized like with a bust in the Hall of Fame. And if you believe that, then I believe that you have to think that Art Modell.
I think when you put those people in, I'm going to say this and leave, that way I can start a fire and go.
Yeah, go ahead.
I think when you say these people,
what do you mean these people?
Whatever you call them, the Sables and the owners and the Howard Cosells, I think when you talk about admitting them into the Hall of Fame, it's a giant show of disrespect to the players. In my opinion.
A giant show of disrespect?
The football players are what matter.
I agree with that part. We agree. It's so funny because they want you to believe that's not the case.
It is the only case.
I understand that.
Now, if you want to make an argument that Dan Fouts shouldn't be in the Hall of Fame or Don Coryell shouldn't be in the Hall of Fame.
We had a magical moment yesterday. We were talking about Jets quarterbacking history where Griffin didn't know what Joe Namath's career numbers were.
They were terrible.
And I was like, you should go ahead. Because I didn't really want to turn it into like when we were talking about the Jets and the Aaron Rodgers thing, I didn't really want to do it.
Joe Namath got in the Hall of Fame on one game.
So I said, I was like, well, they haven't really had a franchise quarterback since Joe Namath. And if we're being honest, then I said,
Ken O'Brien was good.
Okay, all right, that's fine. Ken O'Brien was probably.
They were good in those years.
That's fair. That's fair. But the point was, I said, and Joe Namath, and then I sort of stopped myself. I'm like, I don't really want to do this today.
He was terrible.
And then Griffin kind of looked at me like starry-eyed. I said, just look up Joe Namath's career numbers.
He was terrible.
And you tell me. Like, go ahead.
It would be
look
akin
them
to
up.
putting in Derek Lowe. And I love me some Derek Lowe.
You do love Derek
Lowe.
This is your way of trying to get Derek Lowe into the Hall of Fame, isn't it?
It's like Jeter because he's in New York.
No,
right?
no.
Hang on.
Isn't even in the same ballpark.
Stop. You have a hard on for Derek Jeter.
Stupid stuff.
Wait. You overvalue Derek Jeter.
No.
Stop.
Dude,
stop.
When you compare Derek Jeter to Joe Namath,
that part I agree
you're a
with.
moron.
This is where we're going to try to find some reality in between these two things. Derek Jeter is an overrated baseball player. He is not. Was in no ways. It is laughable that Derek Jeter was the guy that was getting 99.9% of the vote.
Have you ever seen him in a towel?
Thank you. I understand that. That's a different conversation. But to your point, yes, Derek Jeter was
Joe
still
Namath was terrible.
I agree. I'm trying to find the world between
Derek
these
Jeter
two
wasn't.
things. He was not terrible.
But anyway,
it's just overrated.
I think when you put these, people, and I'm putting coaches in with the players because the coaches have a discernible impact on the games and careers. Howard Cosell didn't have anything to do with anything.
I understand that, but I get if we're talking about Steve Sable being in the Hall of Fame.
He shouldn't be in either.
But he is.
It's disrespectful to the players.
I disagree that it's disrespectful because they're
the ones that matter.
I think if the argument is that for every 10 players that get in, you could have one contributor get in as well, that works. That math is okay to say that if 10 players get in, one contributor could also get in too. I think that math is okay. My point
is
put
simply, 11 players in.
Well, you know what? There's guys that I think should be in.
I mean, who's next? Keith Mills?
Keith's a... Why are you taking shots at Keith Mills? We like Keith.
I saw Keith on TV the other night.
We like Keith.
Of course I like Keith. I've known Keith my whole life.
I know. It's Bruce, actually.
Who are you putting in next, Garceau?
Yeah, right. Well, again, why are you saying the name of people we like? Why are you doing that?
Oh, Lord. All right, I got to go.
By the way, you know at the 4 o'clock, we tried to get the bottom of it
I
yesterday.
gotta go.
You know what the 4 o'clock game is on Fox 45 this week?
Yeah, the Jets and somebody
no,
probably.
Well, the
it's
CBS game is Jets-Cowboys.
Oh, my God.
God.
There's like 4 more to go.
The Fox game is Cardinals-Giants. So I had Griffin track down Bruce yesterday and say, who do we got to talk to? Like, you know what else is on Fox at 4 o'clock on Sunday?
Lord only knows. Bill Burr?
No, the 49ers-Rams, which is a great game
oh.
that everyone would want to watch.
Right.
And they're choosing to air Giants. No one in those markets wants to watch that game.
No doubt.
In Arizona, they would give anything for the right to watch another game.
I mean, those guys on Monday night, on Sunday night, it was Tirico.
It was brutal.
I mean, by the second quarter, he was like, everything the Cowboys are doing is right. Like, everything they're doing. He just couldn't get over it.
Wild.
He made so many references to the betting total in the game, like very
it's the only
cheaply.
interesting thing going on.
It was he goes, Cowboys need one more score here. And I'm like, they do? They're winning 32-0. They don't need another score.
God.
Like, when do they need another score?
All right. Drew'sMorningDish.com. Go check it out. Don't say anything that pisses me off. Or don't let me know that you said something that in the comments that pissed me off so I can
you're good. All right.
Appreciate it, pal. At It's a Hooded 4-Iron on Twitter as well as how you follow it. So what we learned is that the network chooses?
Yeah, which makes...
The people at Fox, the company, think that folks in Baltimore would rather watch Giants-Cardinals than 49ers-Rams on Sunday. You go figure that. You figure that.
Because
you know what it reeks of is somebody in Los Angeles. That's where Fox is based, right? Somebody in Los Angeles who knows nothing about Baltimore is like, well, it's close to Washington, and that's a division opponent for Washington.
Yeah.
So that's what it reeks of.
That is
them
the only argument.
being so disassociated from anything. And so Bruce told us that,
because Marquise Brown is on the Cardinals, that's why.
I don't even think it's that. I legitimate. So Bruce told us that the station itself can only 3 times during the year.
I believe so, yes. Yeah, 3 challenges.
Say, no, we don't want that game. You have to, but why would the station not be the one that gets to choose the game? This makes no bloody sense. Why would the people why would Fox think that some guy in a suit, some D-bag in a suit in L.A., have better knowledge of what the people in the market would want to watch than
paid more,
calling the station and saying, hey, Bruce, hey, Morgan now, what game should we air on Sunday? What would people have more interest in? And again, there's not a good one. It's not like they have the choice of putting on a Steeler, like something that would have regional interest for Baltimore. So she would be able to say, well, no one would care about this game at all. Not a single human would have any interest in this game. But there might be 5 who have interest in the other. And 5 is a greater number than 0. So maybe we go with that game instead. It's insanity. Like, what is this? This is the type of thing. Like, people are like, why do you care so much about this? You've already admitted you had the Red Zone channel, right?
Exactly. And I guess that's...
The reason I care is because this is such blatant incompetence it's one thing if it's just picking a bad, like the wrong game between. It'd be one thing if like what would be a comparable game. If the other let's just say the alternative for Sunday was like
no, because the Texans still have a draw. Like
no, the Texans don't have a draw.
The rookie,
what
I don't
are you
know.
talking
CJ
about? They have a
Stroud,
draw.
like,
I mean, that's
you know,
not a draw.
That's much.
You're saying
the
it
Cardinals
the wrong,
are the
You're
worst.
saying
team.
it the wrong way. If the alternative for Sunday, if the alternative for Sunday was Seahawks Cardinals, right? And for whatever reason they put Seahawks, no, that's a bad game. You can't make that comparison. Let's say it was Seahawks.
Say it was like Rockies well, not Nationals, but Rockies. You know,
you're talking about baseball.
Yeah, I know.
Games
Well,
now.
I'm
What
just
are you
talking
doing?
about two bad teams, Rockies Royals.
Oh, okay. Hang on a second. We can do this better. We can do this. If the other game was Broncos Chargers, right? Like that was the alternative, and they announced they were going to show Broncos Chargers. And you would say, well, this is a better game. These two teams we think are better. But Broncos, Chargers, I get it. Justin Herbert's exciting. Russell Wilson's used to be famous.
Sean Payton,
we thought the Broncos might be.
Ciara, yeah.
Like, yeah, these could be teams, I guess, that you could competing with for a playoffs. But, like, you could do the math in your head. Like, I would rather watch, me personally, I'd rather watch the 49ers-Rams game. That's, to me, a better game. But I get it. Like, you know, it's just you're choosing one or the other. It's not. This is complete incompetence. This is not only did someone say it, other people saw them say it, and just sort of said, "Yeah, that's what we're doing on Sunday. That's the way it's going to go," which makes you question how everything works. This is pure incompetence. How does anyone function when it's this incompetent?
So we need to boycott football.
Yes, that's exactly what I'm suggesting. Is we boycott football altogether. That's why these things bother me. There will be weeks where I will be nitpicking. I always look at what the games are. It always interests me. Because to me, and I said this a few years ago, the NFL has the ability to do what the NCAA tournament did and just say, we're going to put all the games on TV. And for some reason has never chosen to do that. And people like to say, well, they can't sell the ticket. If they could sell all of the games, if they could say, not only do you get a game on, Fox, but you could also have a concurrent game on Fox Sports 1, and you could have a game on FX. Well, I don't even know if Fox owns FX anymore. It might be a Disney thing. I'm not sure how that.
Yeah, it's a Disney. Because they're with Hulu and
it's a whole thing. But if you could say you could have a game on this network and this network, and you could sell another package on. They're trying to make up TV windows. They're forcing people on the West Coast to watch games at 6:30 a.m. instead of coming up with a structure where they stagger start times between noon and 9 p.m. for all of the games to be on television. And then people have the choice of what it is that they want to watch. And, learning about new stars, watching Tua Tagovailoa. And they're selling all of the games. And all of the networks are willing to pay out the wazoo for football. It's insane. It's nuts. It's never made a lick of sense to me. But I get it. It's not worth it. There's more important things. We can yell about the fact that the Orioles went 1 for 12 with runners in scoring position last night, which was very frustrating. We didn't really talk about it at the top of the show. I don't know what to make of John. John Means was fine. I think there would be reason. If you want to say you were encouraged by what John Means did last night, I'm good with encouraged. Problem being, again, our standard is unreasonable for what we might need John Means to be, particularly if some of these other guys and their innings limits, if that really is becoming a thing here late in the season. So encouraged, sure. I'm good with encouraged for the 5 innings that you saw of John Means last night. But season's running out. It can't stay at encouraged through the end of the playoffs. And I hate that because it's not fair to John Means, but that's the reality. The pitching problem is so real for the Orioles, and again, didn't get innings last night. They couldn't. It was unreasonable to expect getting more significant innings. They are taxed AF. It's crazy. But hey, at least Drew Rom probably won't go throw 7 shutout innings tonight or something like that. Could you imagine?
I guess he would because it's been so bad.
That's the problem that I like. Richie Palacios, of course, getting to play. For some reason, it always works this way. You just knew that Richie Palacios was going to have a massive game because he was back, all of his teammates were there.
He tweeted last night, first 2-home-run game of my entire life, LOL.
Of course. Of course it would happen here. And it's not even like the Orioles ever had Richie Palacios and didn't. It's more like, I was right down the street, and you didn't want me?
Yeah.
Of course he was going to have a 2-home-run game. Like, we should have known that was going to happen. But hey,
good for Richie.
Happy for Richie. I'm not. Not today. Didn't his brother have a big night too last night? Wasn't like both of them had big games last night? But yeah, no worry. Pitching staff is taxed. They've had to ask a lot of the offense, and the offense wasn't able to just have one night where they weren't clicking. But Kyle Gibson's throwing tonight, so that'll probably solve everything, right?
Yeah, it should, right?
That'll probably fix all the problems.
He steps up well.
Kyle Gibson.
Josh Palacios did have a 2-run homer yesterday in the Pirates' win over the Nats.
How about that? And, of course, you just know that Drew Rom is going to have the game of his life. All right, what did you say on the schedule that we were going to do next? Did you say?
I said that we would chat with Dylan Budka.
You see, this is the part where that we had to pre-record that conversation, so I just didn't know where Griffin said we were doing it. So when we come back in, that's fine. We will chat with Baltimore's own Dylan Budka, who's now in the UFC. Today's show brought to you. Actually, you know what? Just a reminder that Stan the Fan, Ross Grimsley, and Luke Jackson got together yesterday for a spirited baseball chat. And if you missed it, you can find it at facebook.com/PressBoxSports. Click on the videos tab. Go to youtube.com/PressBoxOnline or PressBoxOnline.com/video. It is a Would You Rather Wednesday edition of Glenn Clark Radio.
Gambling can be a fun and entertaining experience, but there are risks involved. If you're planning on betting on the game at the casino or on your phone or computer, know your limit, stay within it. Set a budget and a time to stop. Remember, gambling isn't a financial solution, and it doesn't mix well with alcohol or drugs. Know the risks and have a plan before you begin gambling. For free and confidential services, call 1-800-GAMBLER 24/7 or go to helpmygamblingproblem.org.
All electronic tolling is here to stay in Maryland, and DriveEasyMD.com helps you cruise a little easier. We're Maryland's tolling resource, home to Easy Pass, pay-by-plate, and video tolling. It's never been easier to pay your way. DriveEasyMD.com will keep you moving.
All aboard! The Orioles train keeps on moving, and it's ahead of schedule. The Birds are motoring towards a playoff run here in 2023 as their magic number keeps getting smaller and smaller. I'm Paul Valley, and you can find me along with Zach Goodman every Saturday from 10 a.m. to noon right here on the Bat-Around. We'll navigate you through the playoff push as the Orioles look to put an exclamation point on what is turning out to be the best season of the last 40 years. So join us on the Orioles train, and let's enjoy the ride together right here on the Bat-Around.
Visit Harford County this fall. Celebrate arts across Harford September 15th through the 30th with dance, theater, music, and visual arts. September 29th through October 1st is the largest Italian festival in Maryland, featuring entertainment, cooking demonstrations, a bocce tournament, and family fun. If you're headed to the Maryland 5-Star, stay and play in Harford County. While you're there, enjoy the scenic views atop the King and Queen seats and experience pumpkin patches, corn mazes, and fall brews along their Harford Libation Trail. For more info, head to visitharford.com. Maryland open.
Picking a restaurant to try for the first time? Let's look at the Costas Inn. Here's a few checklist items. Quality of the food? Check. Quality of service? Check. Does restaurant have plenty of free parking? Check. And finally, does restaurant have delicious steamed crabs, crab cakes, crab soup, and specials galore? Check, check, check. Costas Inn, 4100 North Point Boulevard. They check all the boxes.
The latest edition of PressBox is available now. On the cover, Bo Smolka dives into what's next for Lamar Jackson after receiving one of the biggest contracts in football history. Is Lamar ready to take the Ravens to the next level, now with a new offensive coordinator and new wide receivers? Also inside, we look at what new football coaches Brian Newberry and Pete Shinnick bring to Navy and Towson, respectively. And we meet players from the college football and soccer programs around the state. PressBox is available for free at over 500 area locations, including 60 Royal Farm stores. And you can always find the entire edition as well as the best daily coverage of the O's, Ravens, and Terps at PressBoxOnline.com.
6 chicken tenders made from fresh, never frozen Royal Farms world-famous chicken, a family-sized order of Western fries, honey mustard dipping sauce, and a 2-liter bottle of Dr. Pepper. It's Royal Farms' new Tucker's Tenders Meal. It's Justin Tucker's favorite, and at only $19.99, it'll be your favorite meal, too. The new Tucker's Tenders Meal, available only at Royal Farms. Now you can kick back, relax, and eat like a champion. Real fresh, real fast, Royal Farms.
Whether your focus is luxury and comfort, convenience and technologically advanced connectivity, or sporty performance and aggressive styling, we've got the perfect Highlander for you. Check out buyatoyota.com for deals on new Highlanders from your local Toyota dealer today.
Don't forget about Project Game Day after every Ravens game this season. It's kind of like this show, except Rita's also there, so I actually think it's pretty good. But hey, you're already here now, so why don't you go ahead and keep listening to GCR.
Griffin, you want to let everybody know what's going on at the Live Casino and Hotel?
Yes, I do. I want to let you know about the new member program over at Live Casino and Hotel Maryland. We're all about more yes, so sign up for Live Casino and Hotel Maryland rewards today and earn up to $50. Take a spin with a free slot play, or join the action with direct bet, or indulge in your favorite dining experience with comps. All new members will receive a free tote bag as well. So for more information, go to maryland.livecasinohotel.com. maryland.livecasinohotel.com to sign up for the new member program. At Arundel Mills, must be 21. Please play responsibly. For help, visit mdgamblinghelp.org or call 1-800-GAMBLER.
All right, so we had to do this a little bit earlier on because of his training schedule, but a really cool story about someone from right here in our backyard in Baltimore County who is now headed to the UFC, Dylan Budka on GCR. Well, this is an awesome story. Really excited to chat with our next guest here on GCR because he has now officially joined the UFC. He is a Dundalk native. He is one of our own. He's Dylan Budka, and he's with us here on GCR. Dylan, man, it's Glenn in Baltimore. So happy for you. Thank you for taking the time for us.
I appreciate you having me, brother.
Dude, I'm going to ask the broad question that then can bring us back to, what happened like last week, right? But let's start broadly. When I say how did this happen, I hope you understand what I'm meaning is like take me back to you're a kid. You're growing up here. You're wrestling. You're playing football. How did that path from growing up here in Baltimore County lead you now to this point where you are officially a UFC fighter?
Man, every bit of it. Starting, I played Little League ball back home in Essex. I played high school ball at Kenwood and Dundalk High School.
Mm-hmm.
I played football at Dundalk High School and Kenwood High School. I wrestled at Kenwood and Dundalk High School. I went to Dundalk Middle, played basketball, went to Middlesex Elementary, went to Summers Run Middle School and played sports there. Man, it was crazy. It's just crazy how all that led up to what I'm doing now. I never thought I'd even be fighting at all. I thought I was gonna be an NFL football player one day or a baseball star one day, but all of it made me pave the way to what I'm doing now, and all of it attributes to what I'm doing now too right now. So yeah.
All right, so let me go back a little ways. You graduate from Kenwood, right? Wrestling was the path at that point, correct?
Oh yeah, my senior year I decided I was all right, let's do it. Let's just wrestle a little bit in college and go try to win an Olympic championship.
So you, at what point after, like once you've committed to wrestling, at what point does the thought start creeping in your mind like, a lot of wrestlers make really good UFC fighters. Like at what point do you have the first thought of like, maybe combat sports is the direction that I'm going to go with this?
I started off wrestling at Urbana University my freshman year, and then I transferred from there to Notre Dame College.
Okay.
When I went there, I would be at the end of practice, and I would see fighters coming in there and training that are from Ohio, because Notre Dame was one of the biggest colleges for wrestling in Ohio. So a lot of fighters from around this area go there. So I would stay after practice and see some of the fighters coming in. Jessica I've seen Joey Day go in there a couple times from Bellator. Kobe Fair, Alex Poirier, a whole bunch of fighters that little on the lower level, but still got a lot of shine and stuff like that. And I would like just peek my head in and see what they're doing. I'm like, damn, maybe I can do that too. And then I ran into the fighters over at Demolition Fight Team.
Wow. And all of a sudden your life changed. And here you are. Yeah. Dylan Budka is with us. So
changed a lot.
Let's go to that next step. For people that don't know, You end up fighting on Dana White's Contender series for an opportunity to get a UFC contract. Take me through. Again, I'm learning everything in this process, right? Like the steps from getting involved in fighting. I think a lot of people around here are, for example, and they're familiar with Shogun, right? And John Rollo's company and the fights they run now down at Live Casino and Hotel. What is the step between getting involved with a promotion where you were to getting on the radar of Dana White and the UFC? How does that happen?
Well, as an amateur, I fought for literally every promotion I could possibly find. I went in I kind of was stalking all the best people at my weight class, trying to go find who I could beat, where I could beat them, what states I could beat them in. I fought in Alabama. I fought in Kentucky. I fought in Ohio, PA. I went to all the best states and tried to beat all the best guys that were in my weight class at the time, 205 and heavyweight. And from there, I turned pro, and instantly I was on UFC Fight Pass shows from the competition I went against as an amateur. So they were already scouting me out a little bit. But as soon as I went pro, I was trying to fight as much as possible and fight all the best people at my weight class on the regional scene before I went to the national scene. So if I was talking to somebody that wanted to do it as well, I'd probably say fight as much as possible and fight everybody as quick as possible so you can get that experience and build that resume up so they can see that you really love doing this. Because the first thing that Dana and Mick and all the people said when they seen my stats, they said, damn, this boy fought 18 times in the last 2 years.
Jesus.
They like seeing that.
That is nuts, bro. That is crazy, man. All right, so you get on the radar, and then you get this opportunity to fight as part of Dana White's Contender series. And, now, S is getting real. This is no – now, you've had all these fights and you've been doing all the work, but now this is the moment. What is it like to be a part of this, to know what's at stake? How do you – and part of it, obviously, is that you're gifted, right? I understand that part of it's just having a talent. But from the mental side of things, handling – the stakes of this and being ready to go to fight in this spot, what's that all about?
It's definitely nerve-wracking, especially with how I took it. I took it on a couple days' notice. I had to bang out the medicals and travel and go here.
Did you know anything about this dude, Chad Hanekom, that you fought?
No.
Okay.
We literally took it. So I fought at heavyweight August 26th. And then I was actually on vacation back in my sister's house in Baltimore, in Essex. And we got the call in the back porch. I just had 3 crab pretzels the day before and crabs and shrimp.
Yo, you gotta suddenly drop 10 pounds in the span of a day.
Yeah. And right away we got the call, and I was like, damn, yeah, we'll take it. Fuck it, let's do it. Who this is, if you're not in the sport to get to that point, then you shouldn't even be doing it. Regardless if I was 35 pounds over or 25 or 10 or 15, I'm making that weight cut because that I just changed my life forever now.
Yep.
So but it's nerve wracking. But I started to tell myself, I was like, this is what we've been working for the whole time. We deserve this. We belong here, and we're meant to be here. And I got really good at controlling my emotions throughout my career. My team, my coach, and everything did a good job of putting me in them big moments before I got to the big moment. So that's another thing with getting that experience and going against everybody before you get to the big show. So I was prepared and I was ready, and I knew that I was meant to be there.
All right, he's Dylan Budka, Baltimore County's own. He's with us. He's now officially a UFC fighter. Those words, right? You win the fight. You realize how much gravity is there in that moment. You're like, oh my God. And I know that you still have bigger goals. I understand just getting in isn't what you want to do. You want to win fights. You want to win I get that. But as far as moments go, I can't imagine there's anything so far that is compared to the realization of, holy F, I'm actually in the UFC now.
Bro, it's literally it was the greatest feeling of ever in my entire life. Yeah. I was in another meeting with somebody. I was like, I hope everybody experiences that feeling at least once in their life. It was just okay, it all paid off. I can do it now. And past couple years for me, it been a couple rough years. I went through a whole bunch of stuff. I lost my dad. I lost my mom. And in that moment, I just felt like I was finally at peace for the first time in a long time, man.
Bro, that's powerful, man. You're gonna make me well up a little bit, like talking about that, dude. Like I can only imagine how much more meaningful that makes it for you to try to accomplish all these goals that you've had. And you mentioned all the sports that you play. I imagine you think about the sacrifices that your parents made for you to try to give you those opportunities. And like how much does that matter to you now moving forward that you want it to be, even though they can't, they're not with you anymore, to know that like everything they did for you, you're gonna go pay off.
Oh man, it means the world. And that night when I was able to just look at the camera and say, "Dad, I did it," I knew that he was there that night, and I knew that he was watching. And I went through a lot of stuff after he passed, and I feel like after I won that fight, he's at peace. I feel like I got a little bit more peaceful in my life. The sport has done way much more for me than just allowed me to win. It's allowed me to learn who I am as a man, and made me learn how to adapt kind of more to situations like that. And that night, a lot changed for me inside and on the outside, because I was able to accomplish that big goal that I know my dad wanted me to too.
Dude, I'm so happy for you, man. That's incredible. Yeah. That is really powerful stuff, bro. All right, so it's still a small group, right? Like, it's still a small fraternity of there's a lot of fighters in Baltimore, but there's not a ton that have gone on to, reach this level. I know Tucker Lutz, obviously, recently has been someone that's been able to do it. What does that mean to you, knowing, like, this is still, like, you're breaking ground still at this point? Like, this is not, like, Baltimore, this area has not been fertile for getting guys to the UFC. How powerful is that for you, for, like, other kids that now want to look at you and say, like, well, if he can do it, maybe I could do it too?
Oh, man, that's like another blessing too, man. I've had my phone blew up so much, and I'm trying to make time to answer everybody back, because I know a lot of people forget to answer them people back after they make. I don't want to be that guy, but it motivates me. It gives me another reason that I'm fighting for something now. I'm fighting. I see messages. Sorry, did I lose you?
No, I got you back. You're good. Absolutely.
Right, yeah, there you go. I get messages all the time now saying I'm doing this because of you. I started up now because of you, and it just makes me feel good that my story, everything I'm doing is impacting the whole world now, and that's another reason why I started this sport, so I could change the lives of other people too, and get my story out there so other people can say, "Hey, Dylan did it. We can do this too." And I come from the schools where kids don't think they can because we're from Baltimore.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm like, no, you can. You just got to get up out of Baltimore first.
You got to bust your ass too, obviously. You got to work hard, man.
Yeah, work hard.
And I'm sure that's sort of what you're feeling too, is all of the work that you put in to get to this point. And you mentioned fighting like every freaking day during the course of a year in order to make it. So let's touch on this. All the fighters that I've known over the years, I feel like there's two different types of people, because I know once you get into the ring, once you get into the octagon now, you have to be psychopath. Like, I understand that's the way that it works. But I feel like there's a group of fighters, one that's more reserved, that's a little bit quieter, and then turns on psychopath. And when I brought up Tucker, he's somebody that reminds me of that. A little bit more reserved dude. Then he gets and then he turns it on. I know Pat Downey, for example, is just pure on psychopath. Like, that's how he lives his life. And he would tell you that right now. Is which is, or do you fall more into the category? Are you like full on at all times, I'm crazy, or are you the more reserved dude that, like, everybody like, wow, how are you a UFC fighter, that the moment you walk out in that ring, all of a sudden you're a different person?
Oh, I would say I'm that. I'm the guy that just chill. Like, I can kick it back and have fun and hang out and talk about other. I actually like when I'm outside of practice and outside of fight camp, I really don't like talking about the fighting or being around fighting. I just like to chill and hang out with the homies and eat food and talk about everything else but it, because I do this every day, bro. I do it 3 times a day, practice 3 times a day. I'm around it all day long. So there's times when you need to give your brain a rest from it, or you'll tire yourself out. Yeah. Bro, I do this stuff every day.
On a much smaller scale, when it's people talk, my wife is not a sports fan whatsoever, and people are like, "Oh, how does that work?" I'm like, I would not want to come home after doing this for 5 hours, right? And then have her be like, Oh, what the hell did you think about Brandon Hyde pulling Dean Kramer last night? Like I just did that. I have no more interest in that at that point. So it works out perfectly that way. Goals now. You're in, right? Like, so map out for me the next year, the next couple of years. Where do your goals go now that you've achieved this first really massive goal? But I'm sure you have more that you've got in front of you.
I already started getting the weight down again. We're starting to train again a little bit, starting to get back into the groove of things. We're going to go up to the PI and go through some testing and see if I can even get to the 170 weight class.
Okay.
Dana hinted on that. He said he really wants me to be there. But in my last fight, I cut 25 pounds in 4 days. So my body looked a little off, and I didn't look as healthy as I usually do. So we'll see if I can even make it. But I want to bang these next 4 fights out as quick as possible and get to the next contract. I'm ready to take over the middleweight division if it's that, or the welterweight division, and I'm ready to bring back a strap to Baltimore too.
Oh man, we gotta have a parade at that point. We gotta do the whole thing.
Yeah.
I'm all for that, bro. More champions from Baltimore. I like the sounds of that, dude. When you talk about like that type of weight cut, and I know that there's legitimately terrifying sometimes involved with this, but I see that like. How is that just normal for you? Like, how are you able to go through that and just because, like, from the far away, it legitimately looks like death. Like, when we see you guys, like, wrap yourselves up like that, how is that just normal for you?
Bro, honestly, that was probably one of the worst things I've done since I've started fighting.
Yeah.
But, like, we knew we had to get it done because it obviously paid off. But, man, we were going from the sauna bed to a steam room, to the steam room, back to the sauna bed, over to shadow boxing, had the temperature up in the hotel to 90 degrees. We slept in the 90 degrees, and we didn't eat nothing. Man, it was so bad. But at the end of the cut, I had, like, nothing left to where all I could do is move my feet and kind of dance because my arms weren't lifting up. It was a rough time. It was a rough time.
God, that is so terrifying, bro. But again,
the day of weigh-ins on Monday, we woke up at 3:45 a.m. and cut until 9 o'clock at weigh-ins, and we had 4.5 to cut that day.
And how much did you put back on before the fight?
We walked into the octagon at 212.
Jesus. Okay. All right. Just because I don't know, what do you have to do in order to be able to put that much back on? Like, what does that actually look like in a short amount of time?
So we usually get like 2-3 Pedialytes in us. I try to drink it as slow as possible after weigh-ins, because if you drink that quick after you cut weight like that, you'll mess up all your insides because it's not used to it. So I got like my coach and stuff sitting next to me, so I don't freaking chug the whole thing right away. Water.
It's all you probably want to do. It's got to be like a natural human reaction. Like, bro, I just want.
It's so bad. He's got to literally hand it to me, and like, you know, the lids on top of the Pedialyte. We'll fill that up, sip. Fill that up, sip. It's bad, bro. It's so crazy. The last one was probably the worst one I've ever had.
Man, that's nuts, dude. That's nuts.
Yeah.
Well, but you got your contract. Yep. That's the way it goes. Dylan, so happy for you, man. Let's make sure we get the plugs in. Twitter, Instagram, website. What all can we plug for you? Where can Baltimore sports fans be giving you a follow as you start on this journey in the UFC?
You can check out my Instagram at The Mindless Hawk. You can check out my Twitter at Dylan Budka 83 kgs. You can check out Facebook, Dylan Budka. I got new merch out, my UFC collection, on mindlessmaniacs.com. And that's it. I appreciate y'all so much, and I appreciate you, bro, for having me.
Dude, really, I can't say it enough. And I didn't even know the story about your family, man. I got 2 sons. That's powerful. That's really powerful stuff, man.
Thank you, bro.
Rooting for you and your success as you move forward with this, and we will be in touch. Thank you for spending a couple of minutes with us this morning.
I appreciate you, bro. I'll be back after I get that couple wins on the UFC.
It's Dylan Budka, Baltimore County native. Really cool story, and I actually did not know the story of his parents at all, and so really powerful. And look forward to rooting for him in the next couple of years as he makes his journey now as a UFC fighter. Project Game Day returns this Sunday. It is the hangout spot after Ravens games. I was thinking about it afterwards. Like, it's a show, but what's been different about Rita and I over the years is that we've always tried to make it seem like it's more of a hangout. We're not talking to you, we're talking with you. And we want that to continue. And we had a lot of fun with the first one, and we want that to continue growing. We want you guys to come hang out with us and not just watch the show. Facebook.com/PressBoxSports, and I think YouTube.com/PressBoxOnline actually is coming. But we really want you to be involved with the show. And it's all brought to you by Superbook Sports, HelpMyGamblingProblem.org. At the end of games, go to my Twitter account, @GlennClarkRadio. Go to Rita's Twitter account, @TheNFLChick. We're going to tweet out to you a link. It's a Zoom link, and it's very simple. You just click the link, hop in, and you can come be a part of the show. You'll be able to watch the show, and then I'll pull you up, and you can come hang out with us for a while. Very simple. We have always had fun doing this show. We're great. It's great to be back and to be doing it again. We're not wasting your time with bluster. We're not telling you that the John Harbaugh wants to look at the film afterwards. We're not doing any of that stuff.
You sure John wants to look at the film?
Well, I mean, sometimes he doesn't, but that's what you know what I'm talking about. When somebody just doesn't answer a question, there's nothing that we are obsessed with more than in this business. I'm not calling anybody out because everybody does it. Everyone does it. In the radio business, there is this belief that you've got to share.
Got to know what the coach said.
Cuts is the way that they call it. Cuts. It's almost like you have to share 50 cuts. Well, what if they all suck? Doesn't matter. Got to share them. We're just not going to do that. The information that matters after the game on Sunday, we all want to know what? J.K. Dobbins, Marcus Williams, Tyler Linderbaum, Ronnie Stanley. And we'll make sure we talk about that info. We'll make sure we cover all of that the moment that it's known. But all the other stuff, I thought so-and-so played. If it doesn't matter, we're not going to waste your time with it. It's just a hangout spot for you to talk about how you're feeling after a game. So Project Game Day returns this Sunday. Look forward to bringing it to you following Ravens-Bengals. When we come back in, we'll get a tidbit, we'll get tubular, and then segment 1 of the Tyus Bowser Show from last night with Rashod Bateman. That's on the way. It's Glenn Clark Radio. Why bet with the big boys this football season? Instead, try your hand with the local book, Superbook Sports, this fall. Superbook Sports is the book next door. Just a dedicated team of the best odds makers in Las Vegas, making sure you get the best prices and parlays anywhere. And now, Superbook will give you a bonus of up to $250 when you sign up and wager on the same day and use the promo code GlennClark23, GLENNCLARK23. So bet with the best and use the promo code GlennClark23 this football season with Superbook Sports. Visit superbook.com for terms and conditions. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER.
Maryland drivers, did you know you can save up to 77% on tolls with an Easy Pass Maryland discount plan? That's right, 77%. It's never been easier. Pick the plan that's right for you at driveezmd.com. We'll keep you moving.
What's up, everyone? It's Tyus Bowser, and I've had so much fun hanging out with Rita and putting up with Glenn the last couple years that I've decided to do it again. Season 3 of the Tyus Bowser Show is happening this year, as we'll be all over town, giving you the chance to get to know me and some of my teammates. As we talk football, life in general, and just say what needs to be said. You can find out more about the show by going to PressBoxOnline.com/Bowser. If you don't live in the area, you can watch the shows live on Facebook and YouTube. And if you miss one, you can listen Friday nights at 105.7 The Fan. So we'll see you all season long for the Tyus Bowser Show, a partnership of PressBox and Great Ace Memorabilia.
Gambling problem? Visit helpmygamblingproblem.org. It's brought to you by Superbook Sports.
It's a Maryland thing you wouldn't understand. Where the waves meet the shore, you will find Dorchester County. Hi, this is Jimmy Charles. When I think of Maryland, I think Dorchester County on the eastern shore where it's open for making memories. Dorchester County, it's a Maryland thing. For more info, visit www.visitdorchester.org. It's a Maryland thing. Hell yeah. It's a Maryland thing. Hell yeah.
Picking a restaurant to try for the first time? Let's look at the Costas Inn. Here's a few checklist items. Quality of the food? Check. Quality of service? Check. Does restaurant have plenty of free parking? Check. And finally, does restaurant have delicious steamed crabs, crab cakes, crab soup, and specials galore? Check, check, check. Costas Inn, 4100 North Point Boulevard. They check all the boxes.
Make the most out of every day in your Toyota RAV4. Available in hybrid or gas-only models. A RAV4 can get you where you want to go in style. Check out buyatoyota.com for deals on new RAV4s from your local Toyota dealer today.
Visit Harford County this fall. Celebrate arts across Harford September 15th through the 30th with dance, theater, music, and visual arts. September 29th through October 1st is the largest Italian festival in Maryland, featuring entertainment, cooking demonstrations, a bocce tournament, and family fun. If you're headed to the Maryland 5-Star, stay and play in Harford County. While you're there, enjoy the scenic views atop the King and Queen seats and experience pumpkin patches, corn mazes, and fall brews along their Harford Libation Trail. For more info, head to visitharford.com. Maryland open.
Sure, Glenn may be in his 40s now, but he looks just as good as he ever has, and he's still as sharp as he ever was. And I say both those things without even a shred of irony. Find out for yourself right now by watching the show at facebook.com/PressBoxSports or youtube.com/PressBoxOnline.
Winding down for a Would You Rather Wednesday edition of the program. Don't forget, continue to get your responses to me throughout the day. I know we've gotten a little backed up. Part of that is on me with the winners. If you won something recently, I'll reach out. It's on me. It's just on the zany part. I'm in the part of my schedule where if something is not pressing immediately, like if I don't have to address it that day, it's not going to get addressed until I have a day to catch up. And I'm sorry. I know that's not fair, but again, they're free T-shirts. Like this is not. Nobody's paid me money for something. We're gonna get them to you. I promise. You just got to give me some time to catch up on all of it. So. That'll come at some point, hopefully in the next week, that I'll have a minute to go back through. But we will get it. That's not we're still going to pick a winner today. There's still going to be a winner. You're still going to get a free shirt. That's a promise from our friends at Birdland Sports. So continue to get your responses in at Glenn Clark Radio on Twitter, facebook.com/Glenn Clark Radio. All right. Tidbit. Let's do Tidbit. Tidbit's brought to you by the print issue of Press Box, which is available right now for free at your neighborhood Royal Farms. And the hundreds of locations around town where you find Pressbox. Read it all at PressBoxOnline.com. Great cover story from Bo Smolka, looking now at the contract era for Lamar Jackson and the Baltimore Ravens. Again, go pick up this print issue of Pressbox right now. Your neighborhood Royal Farms, or read it all at PressBoxOnline.com.
Trey Turner is, still been great. Third Phillies player to hit 11 home runs in a 13-game span after last night. He joins two other Phillies.
11 home runs in a 13-game span. Ryan Howard.
Ryan Howard is one of them.
Mike Schmidt.
Mike Schmidt is the
How
other.
about that?
You know your Phillies trivia.
Yeah. It's just literally the first two names that came to mind.
Freddie Freeman is now homered on his birthday after homering last night in four seasons, so 4 times on his birthday.
How about that?
Just as many times as Joey Votto. Only 6
I had a little
players.
streak going of important Orioles things that happened on my birthday. I had 21-31 on my 12th birthday. I had Eddie Murray's 500th home run on my 13th birthday, so it was back-to-back. So on my 14th birthday, I remember everybody in my life thinking like,
what's gonna happen?
Because there was nothing that was building up. There was no 3,000th hit or something like that. So everybody was just convinced that it was going to be like a perfect game. That was going to be the streak was going to keep continuing of September 6th, just being like the date that every important.
Do you remember
Orioles
what happened on your 14th birthday? Or?
I remember them playing a 14-inning game or something like that.
For your 14th birthday? How nice.
Something like that. I mean, it might not have been 14. I remember I kept convincing myself something really important is going to happen today, and it just never occurred.
Only 6 players have homered more on their birthdays. They all have homered 5 times on their birthday. It comes from Sarah Langs. Do you think you can name the 6 players?
Are you serious? I could guess a bunch of people whose birthdays are in November.
I mean, yeah.
I mean, how am I supposed to?
Al Simmons,
Barry Bonds.
Not Barry Bonds.
Okay.
Al Simmons is one of them.
Sure. Stan Musial.
Not Stan Musial.
We're just Roger Maris.
Not Roger Maris.
Mickey Mantle.
Alex Rodriguez.
Oh, sure. Why not?
5
He had a
home
lot
runs on his birthday. Todd Helton.
Okay.
On this list. Derek Lee is on this list.
Former Oriole.
Yeah.
Oriole legend.
Another former Oriole. Slugging
Jim
first
Thome?
baseman. No, not Jim Thome.
Slugging first baseman. Chris Davis.
Not Chris Davis.
Mark Trumbo.
You're close.
Mark Reynolds.
Mark Reynolds, 5 home runs on his birthday. And Mike Trout's.
Okay.
On his birthday. June 27th. I know his birthday off the top of my head.
Sure.
That's the only one I know.
You have a problem.
Well, just because there has been
There's
a thing
no
made
defense
about him
of it.
being good.
Sure.
Anthony Richardson is the youngest player in the Super Bowl era to score a passing touchdown and a rushing touchdown in the same game at 21 years old in 111 days. The only players younger to do this both played the 1940s.
Shit, you're going to ask me to guess?
Bill Dudley and George Ratterman.
Bill Dudley and Ratterman. I believe they
Yeah.
toured the country for years selling some sort of elixir that was supposed to help you with your cough.
Puka Nakua had 10 receptions.
I thought it was Nakua.
Nakua, is that what Puka Nakua.
I don't know. I'm asking.
I don't know. I don't know why I like Nakua. I think it might be Nakua. The Rams rookie wide receiver had 10 catches and 119 receiving yards in his debut. He becomes the 4th player in NFL history with 10 receptions and 100 receiving yards in his first career game. He joined. I mean, there's no reason you'll know these guys either, but he joins in 2018. Kiki Cootie.
All just great names. Is really it's the all named.
2003. This former Raven. He did not do it with the Ravens, but in his NFL debut had a 10 for 100.
2003. Didn't do it with the Ravens, but played for the Ravens. Kevin Johnson.
Not Kevin Johnson.
2003. Who would have made their debut in 2003? It ended up with the Ravens.
Yes.
At a 03. I don't know. Who was it?
Won a Super Bowl with the Ravens.
Won a Super Bowl with the Ravens? Jacoby wasn't in the league at that point.
Not Jacoby.
Oh, Anquan Bolden, right.
Anquan
Yeah,
Bolden.
my bad. That's
Anquan Bolden in
dummy.
2003.
God.
And then in 1964.
So stupid.
In 1964, Sid Banks.
Oh, Sid Banks.
Yes.
Yeah,
First
Mr. and
player to
Mrs.
do
Banks'
this.
son. Yes, correct.
Stephon Diggs had his 15th career game of 10 for 100 on Monday Night Football. So I want to see.
Wait, what? Say that again?
His 15th career game.
Oh, I thought you said his first career. I'm like,
No.
what?
No. 15th career game of 10 for 100. So I want to see if you can name the not all the guys ahead of him, but
most 10 for 100 games.
Yeah, let's do the top 7.
Jerry Rice.
Jerry Rice is what? He is not.
What?
Did not do 10 for 100. He only 17. He's right before my cutoff here. So we can do top 9 and include Jerry Rice.
I mean, if it doesn't include Jerry Rice, what is the point of this list?
Top 9 then. Jerry Rice is top 9.
Randy Moss.
Yeah,
I mean, Randy. Now, see, that's a little bit less surprising because he probably had 3 catch 100-yard games, right? Like, it's slightly less surprising because of that. Wes Welker.
Wes Welker is on the list. 18 career games.
A lot of catches.
Number 1 on this list had 23 games for the record.
23. Julian Edelman.
Not Julian Edelman.
The 10 catch part is the part that, like, Andre Johnson.
Andre Johnson is on this list. He is second on this list. 22 games. Second all time.
Somehow it's Cooper Kupp.
Cooper Kupp is not on this list yet. He has 11.
Devontae Adams.
Devontae Adams is on the list. He is third all time. 21 games of 10 for 100.
I think Julio Jones.
Julio Jones?
I'm surprised just because, again, he had more explosive plays.
19 such games. So you got 2, 3, 4.
Justin Jefferson.
Not Justin Jefferson.
Not yet.
Not yet.
That's two. That was asking a lot.
I'm sure he will be on this list. Randy Moss had 10, by the way.
That's crazy. Calvin Johnson.
Calvin Johnson, not in the top 9.
Marvin
here.
Harrison.
13 for Calvin Johnson. Marvin Harrison just outside the top 9. He had 16.
Isaac Bruce.
Not Isaac Bruce.
All right. God, I don't know. How about
looking for 4 more?
4 more. Steve Smith.
Not Steve Smith.
Larry Fitzgerald.
Larry Fitzgerald on the list, tied with Jerry Rice, 17.
They're all wide receivers. None of them are tight ends.
Yeah, all wide receivers. I think Kelsey had like 10, has 10 as well. He's
Hines Ward.
Not Hines Ward.
Andre Reed.
Not Andre Reed.
Art Monk.
There's a Steeler on the list, not Art Monk.
Lynn Swan.
Not Lynn Swan.
John Stallworth.
Not John Stallworth. A little too old. He is no longer in the league, but
Antonio Brown.
Antonio Brown is number 1 on this list with 23 games.
And he's such a good guy, too. There's 2 more on the list?
2 more. They're pretty surprising.
Pretty surprising.
Yeah.
Okay. Are they
One
modern?
is active. One is active.
One is active. A surprising active player.
Right,
on
just
the
because.
list.
Well,
Surprising active player on the list.
he hasn't done much the last 2 years.
Hasn't done much the last 2 years. Michael Thomas.
Michael Thomas on this list, 18 games, tied with Wes Welker.
He hasn't done anything the last 2 years. And then the other one is not active. Derek Mason.
Not Derek Mason.
Jimmy Smith.
He has a podcast, I think.
Brandon Marshall.
Brandon Marshall.
There we go.
Brandon Marshall. I am athlete.
Excellent. Very good. All right, Tubular is brought to you by your local Toyota dealer, buyatoyota.com. The Toyota Tacoma comes in a range of models and trim lines, so you can choose the perfect Tacoma to reflect your unique personality and driving habits. Check out buyatoyota.com for deals on new Tacomas from your local Toyota dealer today. Do you want to offer a former apology to Ryan Reynolds and Rob McElhaney?
Yeah, I'm not sure how I missed it.
The F is that,
I don't know
man?
how
That's
I
a
missed
good show. And
it's not like I was trying to.
And it's sports-ish. It's the exact
So we
thing
both,
that we should
I mean,
be.
yeah, we both should have.
No, I don't normally put those shows on my. Sometimes when they pop up, but normally I don't put those shows on my list. It's kind of shameful that you missed the season premiere of Welcome to Wrexham.
Yeah, I don't know
which
how.
is a show I enjoy,
how
and
I
I look
missed
forward to
it.
watching.
So my bad. I apologize to everyone.
Drew Rom, Kyle Gibson, the pitching matchup. The pitching matchup tonight for Orioles Cardinals. The rubber match, 6:30 on Masson. Masson 2, Nationals Pirates, same time. MLB Network, Rays Twins at 1, Yankees Red Sox at 7. I mean, they're so good. How do you not put those teams on national TV? I mean, it's these critical games late in the season between two powerhouse teams. You got to have them on national TV. Padres Dodgers at 11. MLB TV, Angels Mariners at 4, ESPN Plus Braves Phillies 6:40, Diamondbacks Mets 7:10. WNBA playoffs get underway tonight on ESPN 2, Minnesota Lynx Connecticut Sun Game 1 at 8, Chicago Sky Las Vegas Aces Game 1 at 10 on ESPN, and TBS for AEW Dynamite tonight at 8. Anything non-sports wise tonight?
Yes, new episode of MasterChef. The finale is next week.
I'm a few weeks behind, unfortunately.
Okay. So you got to catch up.
Yep.
Archer, new episode of Archer on FXX. HBO has a documentary called Danya Luna, the supermodel. She was a black model in the 1960s, and so this kind of goes into her story.
I'm sure it's
Looks
very interesting.
On Netflix is Wrestlers, the series premiere about the Ohio Valley wrestling. OVW.
It's an old territory that's like a place where people go to try to become wrestlers. Yeah. It's supposed to be sort of like a Last Chance U concept for pro wrestling. It's something I'd be willing to look at, but I'm not sure. I'm gonna have to hear some reviews about it before I'm committing to it.
A new show on Hulu called The Other Black Girl. It was EP'd by Rashida Jones, and I'm getting Jordan Peele vibes from this one as well, where another black girl starts working at this very white company. That's on Hulu. Apple TV Plus, Season 3 of The Morning Show out on Apple TV. And Disney Plus Elemental comes to streaming on Disney.
How about that? Very good. Hey, happy birthday to our buddy Paul Valley, by the way.
Birthday, Paul.
Happy birthday, Paul. Hopefully your picks continue to be bad, so I don't have to worry about whether or not I end up being
Hope everything else today goes great.
I think we're tied, by the way, in picks. And he doesn't know anything about all right, this conversation for another day. All right, thanks today to Drew. Thanks also to Dylan Budka. Thanks to Jahmeer Carter from Virginia, Spalding alum. We'll get all that up in the greatest hits section of the
Oh, my God, it's so good.
tab at GlennClarkRadio.com, along with the Tyus Bowser Show. You're about to hear segment number 1 with Rashod Bateman, which is brought to you by HelpMyGamblingProblem.org and Superbook Sports. Again, use the code GlennClark23. Get up to $250 in a first bet match, win or lose. Tomorrow on the program, picks.
Rocky Boyman will join us.
Rocky Boyman will join us to preview the Bengals. Oh, boy, stuffing things already?
Yeah, stuffing things.
Yeesh.
A big series for the Orioles, too. We'll talk about
that. That's true. That part is true. You're right. Yeesh. All right, thanks to everybody at PressBox, all of our great sponsors and partners, including Live Casino and Hotel, the Maryland 5-Star, Glory Days Grill, Dorchester County, Royal Farms, Costas Inn, Superbook, Baltimore Orioles, Birdland Sports, Easy Pass, You all right over there?
Yeah.
What the hell just happened?
I was trying to pull something in my hand, I accidentally.
What are you trying to pull?
My shorts were riding up.
Okay. Are you not getting enough tension?
No.
We're going to do your segment tomorrow, guy. All right?
I got Fighting Words tomorrow.
Jesus. Birdland Sports, Easy Pass MD, Harford County, your local Toyota dealer, buyatoyota.com. Thanks to Griffin, I think, at Griffin_Bass. Follow us, Twitter, Instagram, and TikTok, at Glenn Clark Radio. Have a great Wednesday evening. Go Birds, Duke sucks. We wind down today by taking a listen to segment number 1 from last night, the Tyus Bowser Show with Rashod Bateman. And welcome into the Tyus Bowser Show press box in 105.7 The Fan. I didn't even have to say anything. I didn't even have to ask for anything. That worked out all right. We are live at the Hamilton Sports Bar and Grill on Harford Road. Rita and Glenn with you, but most importantly, would you all please make some more noise for the host of our program? He is Mr. Tyus Bowser. Look at Tyus.
Say something for the people. Say something. Come on.
Hello, people, man. We're here for the third season with these guys, man, and I'm excited to be here, excited to do this, man. It's probably one of the best things that I enjoy doing besides playing football, this entire year. So the first episode, looking forward to it. Let's have some fun today.
How about Tyus rocking his City Connect hat today, too? That is smart, man.
How about them O's?
You know I got to represent.
I love that so much. We're going to get back into that during the show because I keep thinking about a playoff matchup that could happen this year and how that might go in the Bowser household. But we'll come back to that. We will come back to that at some point. This week's show is brought to you by Superbook Sports. Appreciate them. We got a code. It's Glenn Clark 23. That's me. I'm Glenn. Glenn Clark 23. GLENNCLARK 23. And if you use that code, you'll get a first bet match up to $250 at superbook.com or if you download the Superbook app. Tyus, you have brought out a very special guest tonight. You want to be the one to introduce him?
Man, this guy here, one of the coolest guys I know, one of the flyest guys I know.
Shoo.
This is your receiver, your guy, Rashod Bateman.
Ladies and gentlemen. What's up, Rashod? Thanks for coming out, man.
What's up, man? How you doing?
Everything is good, dude. I think everybody in town is pretty happy at the moment, right? We're all pretty. All right. I know it's a bit of a bummer that we'll get to, but yes, I think for the most part we're all pretty happy. Tyus, let me start with you. We haven't seen you in a little while.
It's been a minute, huh?
I know it's been. I know it's tough to not be on the field because we did this a year ago. We had all these conversations.
We did.
Let's get caught up. Where you at? How you feeling?
I'm feeling good, man. I'm feeling good. Rehab is going well. It's just a day-by-day process of just getting back to, getting in the football mode again. But so far, things are looking good, so I'm looking forward to, getting back soon.
Is it easier to go through because you went through it once last year, or is it still...
No, it's not easy to go through this, man, because you see these guys that work hard each and every day through camp, and, you want to be out there with those guys, just be able to vibe, connect with the guys. Just that camaraderie is what it's all about, just that brotherhood. And, I just never take those days for granted, being around these guys because you just never know. So anytime I have the opportunity to be around them, man, I'm always for it. So to be able to be out again for another year, man, it sucks.
We'll definitely be looking forward to seeing you soon.
Yeah, very soon. Very soon.
I was just thinking, if I was waiting to put on my Tyus Bowser jersey for the first time this season, week 5, does that sound roughly
good?
Around? Just for wearing a jersey, you know what I mean? Would that be a good week to wear a jersey?
It does sound like
okay, all right. We'll try to save it for week 5 then.
All right.
Rita, remember that. We got to remember we're going to wear our jerseys week 5.
Week 5.
Week 5.
You can't forget week 5. That's
five?
the Steelers game. That's the Steelers game.
It sure is. It sure
Can't forget
is.
about that. So.
That'd be a really good game to be out on the field for, wouldn't it be? That'd just be a really... If I could pick one, that would probably be the one.
That would be the one.
All right, just putting that out there.
On the flip side, this guy...
Back on the field.
Back on the field. Week 1. So how you feeling? How are you feeling? How was that? That feeling?
I don't even know. It was tough for sure, but it definitely helped me out a lot. It taught me a lot about myself. Maybe it was something that was meant for me at the time. I can't question what God got for me. So, I'm just taking my cards and playing them how I got them. But I'm blessed to be here. I'm back on the field. So we just go keep chasing this ring.
Absolutely. My son went to the game on Sunday. Had his Rashod Bateman jersey on. Told him to come today. I was like, you gotta come see, because he is a huge fan.
Dang, well, he missed out.
Yeah.
He doesn't get a free autograph. Let's make that abundantly clear. We said one per person.
He does not get a free autograph.
That's the way it works.
But he's a huge fan. He was very excited to see you back. I'm sure as others here as well. So
everybody was excited to see Rashod Bateman back out on the field.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
Rashod, you've been through a lot, obviously, right? You have been through, we all know how good you are. My God. Man, we were all ready to put you into Canton as we were watching the start of the season a year ago. How much does it mean to have been through all of these sort of tests and to be at this point where you say, I get now the chance to show everybody what Rashod Bateman is, who I am, what I'm all about?
I mean, I don't really feel like, I look at it like that anymore. I feel like everybody know what I can do. My teammates know what I can do. I think that's all that matters to me. Right now, I'm just grateful, what I'm saying, just cherishing the game with everything that I got, because you just never know when it can get taken away from you. And I've never been hurt before, until I got to the NFL. So it was definitely tough because I've never got hurt. I've never missed a game or practice.
Even when you were a kid, even
when I was a kid, I've never missed a practice or a game. So it was the first time ever in my life I ever even had a surgery or anything. So it was all different, but, it definitely made me who I am today.
How do you think that the adversity that you've dealt with in dealing with the injuries on the pro level has helped you now in terms of like just dealing with things that you just can't control?
I just feel like that's life, I think that's the best thing about football is it teaches us life lessons. You can apply them. Life ain't always perfect. Some days you're going to have some shitty days. We all have some shitty days. So, I think it just built me up some calluses, to be able to last a long time because, life is hard. So don't beat yourself up too much. It's hard for everybody. So it's kind of just how I look at it.
I got it. Please somebody jot down when I got to go back and edit the show. Make sure that before we get it on the air.
Life is poopy sometimes.
Yeah,
that's what he meant to say, guys.
The radio edit that we got to make sure we send out. You're good, bro. This is the nice part. I just got to remember it. That's all. We're out here at the Hamilton Sports Bar and Grill. It is the Tyus Bowser Show. Rashod Bateman is with us. It's nice not just to get back out on the field. It's really nice to win, obviously. I'll start, Tyus, with you because I know it's difficult when you can't control anything. But I think a lot of people have this opinion that, like, you're supposed to win every game 50-0 or something like that, right? Like, nothing's ever good enough. How did you feel about the good, the bad, and just winning a game to start the season for these guys?
Well, I can point this out before answering that question is, you know how normally we come on the show and it's always after a loss.
Dude, I don't know how it's always worked out that way. Thank God. We don't have to do that.
So it's nice to be able to come on this show after a win, be able to feel good.
Got so sick of that, like, it's great to be out here. Now you lost.
Exactly. So it's nice to be able to come out with a win. The guys played great. On defense, offense was flowing really well. And it's just nice to see that we're all clicking, especially that first game. And then you coming from preseason games where a lot of your guys didn't play much. Mm-hmm. And for them to come out here, playing fast, being on 1 point all together. And just to see, the outcome of it was great. So I'm happy with the guys and how they did. And definitely looking forward to this week against Cincinnati and, continuing with that same, motivation and energy, into this week.
Rashod, you guys, Tyus brought up the preseason thing. Everybody talks about that, right? Everybody's like, well, these guys haven't been out there. Do you think it matters as much as people make it out to be, whether or not you guys are out there playing together in the preseason?
No, not really. I feel like we practice hard. We practice a lot. We practice how we play. So I think it's just really up to your coach and how they feel you are at that time. Coach Harris do a good job of protecting us and taking care of his players. So, I think he's always looking out for the best interests of us. So to last for the long run, because it is a long season and it's hard on our bodies. So, at the end of the day, I just think, the coach is looking out for us. Yeah,
it really does feel like the joint practices has become the way to go in terms of getting the reps in that you might not get because of preseason, right? And look, we can have conversations about that, but you see guys, unfortunately, like an Aaron Rodgers, who played in a preseason game, so you don't know. You just never know, right? You just never know. So it's very hard to tell. You're damned if you do, you're damned if you don't.
It's the way it goes. That's the way it goes. And idiots like me are going to say things about it no matter what. That's just the way. Yep. That's the way that this thing works. Rashod, I saw you tweeting about it. Your boy Zay Flowers.
those moves that he put on that throw to the left in the flat, yo, he looks like he could be on Dancing with the Stars, right?
He was blessed with some different stuff, man. I don't know what he got, but man, I love watching him play. He's an incredible receiver, and you know he's gonna have a good long career in the NFL, and hopefully it's with the Ravens, and hopefully we both are here. But you know, I'm definitely excited to see what he continue to do in this league because he's a very talented player.
What's it like being in this room right now? There's been a lot made of like this. Probably is the best wide receiver room in Baltimore Ravens history.
As a person who has followed this team since 1996, I can assure you this is the best wide receiving room in Ravens history.
What's that like? What's it like to have, you know, it's the iron sharpen iron mentality, right? Like, what's that been like?
It's definitely good because, you know, we all just continue to challenge each other, you know, every single day. I've never been in a receiver room like that either, and you know, to be in a room like that at the professional level is kind of crazy. But we all just pick and learn things from each other and apply it to our game, and we all are very unselfish because we have to be, you know. So, you know, the team chemistry is definitely good. You know, we love the receiver room right now, and you know, I think we're gonna have a good year.
All right, let's get this out of the way so we can just have fun the rest of the show, right? I could sense how much it hurt you guys, even more so than other injuries, to see what happened with JK. Like, I could sense that the emotions were a little bit more significant. Tyus, you've been through a torn Achilles, like you know a thing or two about it, but can you walk me through why it is that it hurt you guys the way that it kind of clearly hurt you?
I could definitely say, like you just said, just going through that injury alone is no fun. And you know, I've been working with this guy, you know, for a lot of the time during the off season. We worked out together in Houston, and you could just see it in his eyes, just the motivation, just the fire that he had to want to come out this year and show the world who he is. And he takes a ton of pride in himself, in his body, in his performance, and what he does. And, you know, he was trying so hard to, you know, set up life for him with another contract and things like that, and for him to take that sacrifice to go out there and play, and you know, just the unfortunate events of it being the first game and it being that, you know, it hurts me. It hurts me because I know what he's done, I know what he's been through, I know what he's trying to do, and that set himself up for life. That's to help this team win. And for it to just happen like that, you know, it hurts me. It hurts a lot.
I could sense that.
Yeah, for sure. Rashod, you're obviously on the same side of the ball as JK. And so, you know, this is, while you are all teammates, for sure, you know, this is your offensive teammate. So when you see a guy like him go down, you know, there was so much talk about what this offense was going to look like with you and Mark Andrews and JK and now we're never going to really see that go into fruition, at least in 2023. When you saw that happen, what was your thoughts on that?
One, my heart just went out for him because, you know, like Tyus said, you know, we all was rehabbing together at one moment. So just to see him work so hard, you know, and to see him, you know, go through what he did the other day, and to be back in his position is definitely tough. But, you know, from the football aspect, it's definitely tough because I feel like I don't know if I've been on the field with all of us at the same time, actually. So, you know, it's like we always miss someone, but, you know, we all got each other back. You know, we all got JK back, but, you know, it's definitely a tough situation for him, and I'm praying for him because he worked extremely hard to get back, for real.
And we understand, right? Like, we always use, like, catchphrases. We always say cliche things like, well, it's next man up, right? But, like, there are real lives. Tyus, what you're referring to.
Definitely.
And, like, everything that, it's not just him, but every running back in the NFL is going through at this moment.
Exactly.
And for him to say, look, man, I'm going to do what I got to do, but I'm going to show up and I'm going to be there. I imagine that spoke, just him saying, okay, I'm going to be here and I want to be a part of this thing. That alone spoke to you guys about the type of person he is, the commitment he had to you guys. Because it is hard out there for running backs, man. It is not the right time to be a running back.
Especially what's been going on ESPN with all the running backs. You just seen all the news and things like that, and you just see these guys want to get what they deserve. And playing running back is tough, man. You taking hits you know, and you got to do so much. And for them to not be appreciated, you know, those guys deserve that money. And, you know, a guy like J.K. deserves to be paid because he's that guy. He works hard. You see the plays. I mean, it's on film from what he's been able to do from college to now. And like I said, just to be able to see that happen, and I wasn't sure. I thought it was an ankle, but I just see the way he was walking off. I was like, man, this could probably be something more serious. And just to get the news from it, man, it hurt my heart.
Do you say anything, like having been through it? And I was joking with Tyus a couple weeks ago. I mean, you don't see the gray, but like Tyus has kind of become like the old wise sage on this team at this point. Like, it's just the way that it goes.
You know you're a vet,
it's
man.
A young
That's
man's
the crazy
game.
part, man. That's the crazy part. That's
right?
the crazy part.
We were joking about it, and he was like, I'm not an old man. I'm like, but I bet they treat you like. He's like, you know what? They are. Yeah.
He's definitely the old man, one of them.
I just try to do what I can for these guys, man. I mean, just for, you know, a guy like J.K., you know, during the off season where he was just doing so much, and I'm like, yo, like, you still got another 3-4 months to go. Like, you need to handle each and every day, you know, accordingly. Like, don't kill yourself now because you got training camp. You got all these things to go through. So just trying to get these guys insight, just try to help these guys in any type of way. You know, I was talking to, you know, a few other cats, just, you know, them asking me questions. You know, what is it like? What do I need to do? How do I take care of my body? What do I need to look forward to? And
how do I set up my 401k?
All
right?
of that.
Like
all
when
of
do I
that.
need to get my prostate checked?
Yeah.
You know, like all of those.
I don't know about all that.
That's your life
I don't know
story.
about-
Don't put that on him.
Don't put that on me.
That's not their story yet.
Hey,
That's yours. That's yours.
Don't do that. But like I said, man, I just want to help these guys in any type of way. You know, being that guy now, I had that same help when I was young. So I just want to pass that on to the younger guys as well.
All right, y'all make some noise for Tyus Bowser, Rashod Bateman. Hey, and how about we make some noise for J.K. Dobbins, too, right? Hey, remember, if you or a loved one has a gambling problem, I want you to go to helpmygamblingproblem.org or call 1-800-GAMBLER for free confidential services. Trippy, I don't think you're quite there yet, but I've been watching some of your parlays.
Trippy definitely
You might
needs
be-
it because he has 16-leg
Yeah, we
parlays,
might
and
need to start-
I think that's madness.
Goodness gracious.
Yeah, Trippy's got to get a hold of himself a little bit. That's my guy. Hey, when we come back in, I want to talk about...